Hello! Welcome everybody to the captain's table. Holy shit, I got people switched around. Hold on. Apparently Stoutman is now Farah and Farah is now Stoutman.
I don't want to be Farah.
Hang on,
It's a horrible existence.
I don't have a shirt that loud.
I'll get some tip backs and go grab a hoodie. Give me a sec.
Hold on. There we go. Right way around. Welcome everybody to the captain's table. My name is Paul, Berserker 1, Batman Shelley. I am your humble host and space bartender here at the captain's table. We're kind of doing a redo because the last time we tried to do this, it would completely and utterly bombed on us. And we even tried to record it, and that record got bombed on us. So I just want to make sure, can you guys see the picture? Is the audio okay in chat? Please tell me so.
What I'm watching, the
Nobody
picture
say
is
anything.
right now.
And then it suddenly speeds up, and it's like it's no.
Yeah. Please don't tell me it's still doing that. Do not even in a freaking trolling way. All right. Okay. Good. Excellent. So we're gonna try to maybe hit on topics. We have Dolvac here, who's gonna drag us down as usual. So it depends on what's going on.
I've accepted my role in this. It's okay.
What am I, invisible?
Farah, you're there to be loud. You're a wild and crazy guy with your
Yours kind of camouflages you with your bottles back there. It's hard to see it.
So going around the room, we're going to introduce ourselves, starting with the man with the epic beard, who is red with the red epic beard.
Hey, you got to narrow it down.
Narrow it down with the amount of epic beards in the cast.
I'm Eric McKetton. Hello.
And then we've got below Eric, we have. That's you, Farah.
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm professional, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm Pharisal. I have a tinge of the I have a tinge of ginger in my chin, but not my head.
Head. English. It's okay. You must be understandable. And then next to Pharisalt, we have the ever lovable, ever fallible Dolvac.
Greetings. I'm here, I guess.
And next to him, we have the wise and all-knowing. He only speaks when it is important. Stoutman.
How y'all doing?
And it would be perfect if you didn't say anything, like greeting us was not important.
It is important to greet the fans. Come on.
The fans, not us.
That's what we're here for. We're there for them.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to immediately plug in and say happy birthday from earlier this week, Eric McKetton.
Thanks, you dick.
We would sing happy birthday, but then I would get my the whole thing DMCA'd.
Oh, not anymore, actually. But
I know not anymore, but I figured that joke is old enough that only original backers will know this.
Lando is attempting to compete with the captain's table.
Who is?
Oh, according to Harold Zagnut, Lando is trying to stream right now.
He thinks he's better than us, which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly a high bar. Get it?
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Did they have something planned and didn't tell anybody? Because that's something. Or is it just
I don't think so. I think
it's one of his spontaneous streams.
Is streaming him streaming a game, playing a game or something?
He's probably
Is
playing
it on Sid Community or is he on like his own thing? I don't know. I'm not watching it. So.
Yeah, I'm not watching it. I'm focusing on this. But anyways, if you want quality content from content creators who have been around for a while and been doing Star Citizen for a while, you can stick around here.
Oh, he's playing console games.
Oh no! Don't
Oh,
garbage, trash.
don't watch that. You guys
love
don't
you,
For
Disco.
shame.
I love you, Disco. I'm just going to rag on you because I can. Hey, I like Red Dead Redemption. Isn't Red Dead Redemption on? No, it's on Xbox One. That's
It just had the big resurgence because it just got the backwards compatibility thing, like the whole emulation thing. That just happened.
And yet
Anyways.
somehow it still can't run on a PC.
Wait, so CRG Community or Disco Lando?
It's CIG Community. He's abusing his powers for personal gain.
All right, guys, let's focus. Let's recenter. Focus.
Hang on, you
guys,
expect us to focus?
if you guys haven't been on, if you guys haven't watched the Captain's Table before, it is a I don't even know
Informal live stream.
Yes, informal live stream. It's an informal discussion between the various community content creators of Star Citizen. We may talk about things like Grimhex and the Bengal, or we may go off on a tangent about how Pharisalt is going to run the first tiki bar that also runs some cocaine and prostitution out on the side. Who knows? We'll just go wherever we want to. They can only see the top half of that.
Oh, darn. Let's fix that really quick.
Starting off today, I do actually want to bring up the fact that specifically. Hold
Gotta
on.
wait for the delay.
I'm going to replace Dovek's picture with the picture of a butt.
I mean, honestly, there's not much of a difference. I'm just gonna be frank here. I mean,
the first thing I want to talk about is Grim Hex. Your thoughts?
we finally saw it. It looks a lot different than I thought it would look.
I think a lot of people are assuming that it's bigger than All-Star. Did they say it was bigger than All-Star? Because I don't remember them saying it was bigger than All-Star.
No, but it's kind of implied. There's like someone on Reddit. I forget where exactly they got it from. They got like a screenshot of like a map of like a wall like map, and apparently there's like racing lines, and apparently there's a whole bunch of other stuff that seem like it should be fairly sizable that we didn't see at all.
In my mind, I'm seeing it as about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than Area 18 on ArcCorp is. So I think it is pretty darn sizable.
Yeah, I get the impression that it's got more interior space than Olisar. That's for sure. I don't know if it's necessarily bigger than Olisar, but Olisar is all exterior.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that Olisar was supposed to be bigger, but they wanted to put the interior that was in there now so they can get it in there, and then when they had better network stuff, they'd increase.
Oh yeah, well, if you, I think we've all done this now. If you clip through it, you can see there's a giant open space underneath the area where we walk that is obviously designed to have something in there. You know, it's a big blocked off area that there's clearly plenty of room for more decks and stuff to go in.
There's doors that don't open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would love to see more, not just with there, but also with Kovalex, because Kovalex is big, but it's kind of like a small stage rather than being able to explore all of Kovalex. Like once we have like a massive Kovalex, it would take hours to get through and do the.
Well, if they could add more missions to Kovalex, would be pretty cool.
Well, I have a feeling that when we see the introduction of some sort of cargo, that there will be also an introduction of a functional version of Kovalex, maybe another Kovalex shipping hub,
like an actual shipping hub that works.
Yeah. Go recover abandoned cargo, stuff like that.
No, I think what he's talking about is like an actual shipping hub where you go to the shipping hub to get shipping, like to pick up shipments and then transfer them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Or we could even see an addition of a different company, not just Kovalex.
I very much got the sense that Grim Hex is okay. So back in the day when they were first talking about All-Star, like the thing was thrown around that like All-Star came together in a week because of all their modular components, and like that's how I get the sense that All-Star was more made for Alpha 2.0, just because they needed a station for Alpha 2.0, and that's why it was just thrown together, because they needed something to serve this purpose. I get the sense that Grim Hex is actually like a location that's going to be in the damn game,
right?
Maybe somewhere else in the galaxy.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Thank you, Topatage, for donating money to Fair Assault.
Dude, like $30.
$30 on there too.
Thank you, man.
Yes, thank you.
Do your notifications still pop up on this screen? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's right. It's because he uses his normal like screen like you do. Like this is your normal.
Yeah, I use but I actually have one scene set aside that doesn't have any of that stuff, just so it won't pop up. I'm gonna start doing that. That way, people, I can draw attention back to what's important. Me.
Yeah, me. This guy.
No, but don't like. I think you're right. I think part of what they did, and this they may have stumbled upon gold with this, is that because they developed it for Alpha 2.0, I think one of the biggest things that was a problem was that the All-Star we have now is not the All-Star we were shown.
Yeah.
Previews. So they made several different versions of All-Star before they gave the ones that we have now, which tells me that they were like, well, we just got to make this thing. And they're like, it's not that good. Let's do this. Let's change it to this. Let's change it to this. And so at the end of All-Star, having made All-Star, they suddenly had this big construction set that they had built they would all snap together for stations. And they're like, well, why don't we just expand on this? Because that's cool.
Yeah, that's exactly the sense I get. Like, like places like Kovalex and like Kovalex and Area 18 feel very different than places like All-Star, simply because, like, you know, All-Star serves a purpose from a gameplay perspective. It's like, hey, this is the starting point for the alpha. And we just need this to work like this, right? And it's like a testing bed for ship spawning, all that stuff, and, like, you know, player respawning and all that junk. And it's just an environment that they can kind of like stack mechanics on, right? I get the feeling that that's not even close to be the final iteration of, or even the final direction of, like, that's like, I don't even think that, like, in the final universe we're going to even see a station that's similar to All-Star, unless they would, like, want to have, like, that nostalgia factor. Like, hey, that's the station that was in the alpha.
Right.
But I don't really think, like, a lot of the stations are going to be in that direction. It's something they just need something that worked. However, if you look at something like Grim Hex has, like, almost like lore already. Like, have you seen the whole name? It stems from, like, Green Imperial Hex.
Green Imperial Hex, yeah.
Yeah,
Station.
the short form of that, because it's kind of like wiped away. That stuff's cool to me, and that feels like an actual environment. And All-Star, not All-Star, Area 18 feels like an actual environment. Nyx and Hurston feels like actual environments. And I think it's cool that we're starting to get that stuff. There's like, hey, actually, this is like the kind of thing you're going to be getting. Not like, we threw that together in like a week. And I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Thank you, Wikipedia. I know I don't have the notifications turned on, but thank you to you too as well.
Oh,
So turn on your notifications.
I don't have the notifications turned on because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
You knew what you were
I
getting.
knew what I was getting myself into.
I have a really important question that's been bugging me for a long time.
What's that?
When Fairasult takes a drink from those standard Aussie size shot glasses he has there, how much of it goes up his nose?
All of it.
None of
Well,
it because he's Australian.
It's filtered through my mustache first, though. You gotta remember that part.
It's absorbed directly into the brainstem. He doesn't actually have a throat. It just goes directly just in there.
That's all Australians. All Australians can just take liquor and
Absorb it straight through their skin,
their
basically.
skin. Yeah, it's how they survive. It's like they get stung by like a triple deadly wasp, and they're just like, oh look, I've got my wake up juice for this morning, and they just kind of.
They're like frogs.
Yeah.
They're like toads.
Although real Kelsar makes a point that the mug is probably just a regular size mug. Farasol's just really small. Those aren't full liquor bottles. Those are those little hotel ones.
Yeah. Fairasult is actually a hobbit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's actually a hobbit.
Okay, what I
You
missed.
have no idea how hard it was to get
You missed.
into the
You
dark.
missed. Fairasult is in fact a hobbit. That's what you missed, and he can also
Oh, I
absorb
already knew
alcohol
that.
through his skin. Questions, guys. If you have questions, exclamation point questions in chat. We'll be taking questions and answering them in about 20 or 30 minutes. So we're just going to get through this. I got another question. Or does anyone else want to talk about Grim Hex? And their opinions?
I just want to say I love the very Blade Runner feel you get from the design. There's obviously a lot of cues from Blade Runner taken there, and you know I can never get enough of that.
Well, what is it called again? There's another one that's very similar to Blade Runner. The one that came like 2 weeks.
Killjoys?
No, not
It does feel a
Killjoys.
lot like Killjoys.
It does feel, but they also take the what is it? It's something identity, not the Born Identity, but it's about. It was one with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he like goes in to get like his.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Thank you. Total Recall.
Yeah, the original Total Recall, not the
remake, but no,
the
it has that
remake.
sort of aesthetic to it.
While
too.
the remake is much more true to the book or the short story, the original movie is a far superior movie, in my opinion.
It's a far superior farce. I mean, movie.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Australia is Mars. I'm just saying.
It is. So either that or Tunisia. Tunisia is also Mars because that's where they.
Well,
filmed it.
that's just like whenever you see a movie or play a video game that's set, post-apocalypse, you can't tell is this the post-apocalypse or just the outback. You know, it's-
Like in Mad Max, the rest of the world's just fine. He should
it's
in
just-
Australia.
It's just Australia.
Well, that was actually kind of part of the. You remember the original Mad Max when it starts out? It is. He's still living in like a suburban lifestyle until he hits out into the wastes. Even though it is after.
Yeah, he's a cop.
It's still a fairly suburban lifestyle until he gets a little too far away from home, and then suddenly it's just this horrendous
Madness.
post-apocalyptic, lawless world.
So
Yeah,
what you're
that's
saying
accurate. That's a documentary, actually.
An acid trip.
Yeah, it wasn't actually a movie. He just followed a guy around in Australia, and once he hit the outback, it was.
Yeah.
No,
There's a
that's-
series of video blogs.
do you think we'll actually? Because speaking of that, do you think we'll get like the kind of clothing we'll get will be similar to that? Like like people with like spikes all over them, and like hoodies with like death skulls, all edgelordy all over them, and like,
I really
masks.
hope not.
I mean, I kind of do. I kind of want that futuristic like edgelord BS to come up, because I'd be like, yes,
Fake masks everywhere.
Yeah, like the skull masks that you see, like bandanas.
It's a legitimate strategy in space. If you wear really spiky armor, you can engage in combat in 0G in a vacuum by just hugging someone.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Stoutman's look through all that conversation. I want skulls and stuff. Stoutman's just sitting there slowly shaking his head. Not saying it's this real slow shake of the head.
I mean, I wouldn't wear it.
Skulls are okay, but just not like pink ones.
Aw, why don't you like pink skulls?
It's just not.
It's too overplayed.
Not
I'm with Stoutman on this. Pink is overplayed now. Gotta go something weird, like lime green skull.
Yeah, there we go.
Or blood red.
Blood red.
White and black. Those are skull colors.
Royal purple. I'm always a fan of the royal purple, the Twitch purple. The
Yellow
lime
skull.
green. Yellow skull. Yellow is a horrible color. No one should ever use.
No, nobody should use yellow. Horrid.
says the test gaming guys. But in terms of like what are we expecting? What are you guys expecting from the new kind of content we're going to get with 2.5? Not necessarily we're not getting new features, but like more stuff that we already have.
Grim Hex and a flyable ship. That's all we know.
You don't think we're going to get new
And the flyable ship is the Reliant.
I would hope that with Grim Hex comes some missions geared specifically towards criminals or those that aren't falling within the law.
Yeah, just more stuff to do would be nice. Besides a new place to go, more stuff to do, more missions.
I mean, if for those of you that have been watching Captain Richard's stream, the poor guy's been stuck in level 4, level 5 wanted for the last 2 weeks because it's very hard to reduce it down from that, and there's nothing for him to do. He just flies around with other people, and they kind of just screw around on the ships because if he attempts to do anything legit in the game, he gets swarmed by Crusader security and people wanting to kill
or some jerk face sneaking aboard his ship and killing him with an assault rifle.
Yep.
If you guys ever watch any Bad News Baron throughout a month, he goes through like these phases of like slowly wanting to kill himself more and more as the month progresses, and there's nothing new. And you can just see it in his eyes. And just like first couple weeks, you're like, yeah, new patch, all new stuff. Let's fucking try out everything, and then just as he does everything over and over again, he just.
I know.
You can see the pain.
That's all
yeah, another great example of that. Last couple of days, Trip Rodriguez has finally been back to streaming Star Citizen. He's been building his studio pretty much for the month of June, so he's been away for a lot of 2.4. And he gets back to finally streaming, and I tune in. What do I see? I see a man with, like you said, absolute dead eyes playing Vandal Swarm. And it's just like, he just had this kill me now look on his face. Like, this is what I come back to. Like, because Vandal Swarm is the only thing that reliably plays.
It's like he wants to stream, but he hates what he hates what to do.
And I've been there too, where you're going through the game. I'd rather just walk in circles around my hangar right now than play this game.
One of the things I'm really happy is I found myself doing. I've caught myself doing this. It's like I'm making bulkheads, and we're kind of like making new content, right? And we're reskinning things. We're making new environments, and I find myself like enjoying that more just because it's new content. As kind of like a player, just like new stuff. I get to look at the new stuff for a while. Because like I've learned to appreciate things for long periods of time, so I get to just stare at this monitor for a long time because we retextured the entire thing. Like, oh man, that's a cool new monitor.
I like that monitor.
I'm this lost. I'm this far down the rabbit hole. And like I make something. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I feel like I'm that far gone where it's like someone who's been locked in like a museum for so long, their entire life that they start painting new paintings just so they have something new to look at. That's me.
I mean, I'm starting to appreciate 2.4 because one of the things that's happened to me this week is my friend, Brother Kalai, who has been away from Star Citizen since 1.2. He decided, I want to get back on Star Citizen. I'm going to hang out with you and play some Star Citizen. And so he comes on, and it's just like everything's new to him.
What the fuck is this? What did they do?
Oh my god, everything is amazing. And I'm like, I get to see it through his eyes. I'm like, yeah. Holy fuck, they've come a long way in like 6 months from just like Vandal Swarm and Arena Commander to like universe.
Wait, 1.2 that had Vandal Swarm, but not co-op, racing, and one map of Arena Commander. That was it. You had like three.
No, 1.2 was.
We had 2 maps, but we didn't. I don't think we had co-op yet. I think co-op came with 1.3.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 1.3 that he came in because it was it was last time.
But we did have both Dying Star and Broken Moon. We had those from the beginning.
We had racing, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, so he had almost nothing to like all of a sudden all this stuff, and so I think for us it's easy for us to get jaded because we pay attention to everything all the time. We get super focused on it.
5 or 6 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah, and so it's easy to get tunnel vision, and seeing it from a perspective of someone who's not been following this game is ridiculous. It's amazing. Like looking at it visually, it's pleasing. Visually, it's stunning. And B, playing it and like seeing all the different content for it. It's like this is. I mean, it's a good like 4 hours, 4 to 10 hours of gameplay if you wanted to get like a lot to experience everything that there is to be experienced in the game. Right
it's also one of the many downsides of being like Evocati or PTU as well, is that by the time it gets to live, if you're doing what you're
already bored with it.
You're bored with it, and people are like, "Wow, look at this!" Like, yeah, whatever. I did that last week.
Yeah.
For 10 hours over and over again with Xylo standing over me, going, "Do it again! Do it again!"
Equip more items to change your cosmetics.
See if you can break it doing this. Yeah.
Like whenever something kind of big happens and like it's big enough to kind of like filter into like general gaming news. Like that happened the other day on ATV when like the Bengals showed up, and it was like, oh, this is so impressive that this is kind of gonna transcend the community and go into the general gaming community. So like you could see people like posting it, and like it was pretty up there in like the normal r/games. Right, it got pretty up there. Like, oh my god, look at this fucking Bengal, right? And like I love those threads because I go in there and people are like, oh, that's really cool. Like I wonder what else. What's this game about? I'm like, here's like 5 links, and they're like, oh my god, and like. You just kind of like inject the heroin into like 5 people.
Oh no, like
that's my new thing.
Captain Flint it's been front page. So like if you haven't got to go to follow Captain Flint, great dude. He's front partner stream or partner spotlight front page of Twitch for a week, and so he's got a couple times where he's gonna be front page, and he was front page yesterday, and he had like 900 people watching him, and he was doing a explanation stream. That's my cat doing cat things. He was basically kind of like teaching people what Star Citizen was and showing off the game for like 4 hours. And there was at one point someone was like, "No offense, everyone who's doing tutorials, can you actually play the fucking game?" And like the entire community was like, "Shut the fuck up, asshole!" He's trying to show people and there were people coming in like, "I have never seen this game before." Or last time I saw this game, I could play in my hangar.
Or I love it when they show up and they say, I didn't know this was playable. Everything I've read on the internet said it's vaporware.
Yeah, exactly. There was so many people like that, and so it's always
quit
fun
reading from one guy on Twitter, and you would have learned a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I actually had a similar experience recently. I was streaming live from a local LAN party, a competitive gaming LAN party, and I had a fantastic time doing it. But every 5 minutes, someone walked past. The hell game's that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's Star Citizen. Really? I heard about it, but I didn't think it was out. I'm like, it's not out. We're still in testing. It's been in development for 2 years, 8 months.
Yeah.
And we might be releasing the single-player campaign this year. I was like, oh, I'm going to pick that up.
Paul, that's the third person that said that. Novak and Versot are loud. See, they're not loud to me. They're not
loud to me either. That's the problem. So in the future, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do the audio. What Reverse the Verse does, we'll do the audio on. Or not Reverse the Verse, but Reverse the Verse. We'll do the audio on Discord so I can actually have levels.
Zoom has auto ducking features in it, guys, where it tries to equalize the audio itself, and we can't turn that off.
It's funky, yeah.
It can do it really weird. So like, we're not hearing what you guys are hearing with it being loud for Dolvac or Verisalt.
Yeah.
I literally can't reach my microphone. I'm standing that far away from it.
So.
Also, I have a giant hand.
I'm going to turn myself down here a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can hear it. But if you guys have any questions for the cast, please hit ! questions, and we'll talk about it. But I think at this point, like, all right. So what impressed me the most about ATV is not the Bengal. everyone was losing their shit over the Bengal, and I'm like, the Bengal is so fucking far away. Like he said, oh, the Bengal will be done in 3 months, and my thought was, pfft. That was my initial reaction, and I realized that like it was a horrible reaction to have. That this dude is putting all of his time and effort into this, and he's working really hard. And my first thought is, yeah, right. Like, yeah, good luck, dude, kind of thing. But in reality, it's like I'm jaded. Like, there's no way this thing's going to come out in 3 months.
Well, you know why he's saying 3 months though? Because his deadline, he's got to get it into Squadron 42.
Yeah, exactly.
That's he's been told we need it done by October so we can have Squadron 42 out by December. Get that thing done.
Well, it's not like they're just starting on it. They've got a lot of it done.
Yeah, it looked to me like they were just starting on it. I mean,
what, the Bengal? Oh no, they got a lot of it done. I think
if what I read on NeoGAF is true, most game developers could have done that in like a week.
Oh God.
Dude,
Thank you.
I do that regularly with some MS Paint and then like.
Yeah.
And fucking,
Man, I saw someone offering to do it on Fiverr.
Yeah. We'll bangle for money.
Oh my God. I don't know, but the amount of sideline developing that goes on about Star Citizen is too damn high.
I love it. I love reading it sometimes.
It's like you have absolutely no idea like what this development is.
From what I've learned, is everybody on the internet is a game developer.
Oh, everyone is.
When you say you obviously don't know what you're talking about, I am a game developer. Really? Wow, you and all the other guys in this thread or on this site are game developers.
Well, NeoGAF, to be fair, NeoGAF does have a lot of people who are developers. The problem is that if you say, "Oh, I'm a game developer," it's like, "Oh, so you made the UI for like Madden in 2012." Congratulations. That's the only thing you've done. Congratulations, right. You're not a game developer. You're a UI manager. That's it.
Look,
I was a code monkey for EA. It's like, who cares? There's a huge difference between you being a code monkey and someone building a game. You know? Oh, I made a game on Unity.
There's very little difference between making a mobile match 3 game for iOS and making Star Citizen.
Yeah, totally not. Yeah.
Part of discussing and critically talking about video games, part of talking about and discussing and critically talking about media, period, is acknowledging that a lot of the time, you don't have the knowledge to discuss some elements of this media. That doesn't mean you can't talk about it, period. Doesn't mean you can't have opinions about it. Doesn't mean you have to like it or even you can't discuss things you don't fully understand. But it does mean you have to acknowledge that element, or else you're fucking stupid.
Unless you're on the captain's table, then we're all official CIG.
I know everything.
We're all official CIG employees, and everything that we say can be quoted on the forums.
I'm Chris Roberts.
Yes, Dovak is actually Chris Roberts. Fairsold is actually Sandy, and Stoutman is actually Brian Chambers. He's not. Yeah. That's how this works. I am the Illuminati.
Derek Smart.
That's all. I'm Derek Smart. Yeah.
I just didn't use my magic shampoo this morning.
Yeah. That's all.
That is. I need some of that shampoo. I think. I should be strands out
What's
of it.
up?
I just realized something. Why is there no Chris Roberts, Derek Smart erotic fan fiction?
Why do you ask?
Now it exists. Thanks, Dolbach. Thanks.
The internet, because no. The internet has had this for too long to have not done something of this nature.
Mate, just look at r/shipping.
Yeah, I'm sure
that's the thing.
somebody's created it already.
All right.
Now it's going to get popular.
Now it's everywhere.
Chop. All right, I want that tomorrow. All right, I want that sent to me at PM by tomorrow. Okay.
You're going to also find all of your ships deleted by tomorrow too. For that
But you were.
It was worth it. It was worth it. Let's not.
You look at your ship list; it's just a line of Auroras.
Well, I'd be fine with that. That's the best ship in the game. It was funny because I was talking with Underscore on stream the other day, and he made some comment about how people get answers wrong all the time. Even people who follow the game all the time don't quite understand everything that's going on.
There's too much shit.
As he said it, my first thought was, "You're talking about me," and I acknowledged I say some things that have I'll say something and it'll be completely wrong, and I'll be completely wrong about it, but I'm saying it because this is based on my own experience. But there's a difference between me, who follows the game pretty intensely, making a kind of a small, like, oh, the Starfare didn't come out in this patch, it came out in the other patch, whatever, okay, I screwed up there. Versus, they can never make this game. I can prove it. I'm a game developer. I've made a Unity game for iOS, you know?
Please, I played game dev.
Yeah.
My game was really successful.
Yeah. So...
part of the worst thing ever happened to INM was when we transitioned, because our editor, who is a professional audio editor, like it's what his actual job is, didn't have the time to edit the podcast anymore. We transitioned to a live format, right?
Yeah.
Which took some transition time, but the problem with that is we would just talk shit, and then our editor would fact check everything and be like, that's fucking wrong. And then, we were always right. And now that was just, we didn't have that safety net anymore. We'd just be blatantly fucking wrong on the podcast, and no one would ever hear it.
Well, you let me on the podcast several times, so I can prove that it's just
especially
wrong
when somebody puts you on the spot, because people do it. They expect us, because we do spend so much time in this game, to have the answers on the top of your head. And you're sitting there and you're going through and you're like, I swear I did hear somebody say something like that. Was it a CIG employee?
Yeah, I had a question.
And then it turns out, no, it was, Fairasult theory crafting one night in Discord saying, I'd like it if this would happen. That was what really was discussion. Now I've just gone out and said, I'm pretty sure Matt Sherman said we're doing this.
Yeah, but we have a better chance of coming up with the right answer because we do put the time in paying attention. So, statistically speaking, we got a better percent accuracy rate, but
it's still like 3%, but it's better.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is I think what a lot of people don't realize is that people who don't follow the game don't really take CIG at their word, and it's really not difficult at times to see when CIG is they don't lie really to you.
Right.
They make mistakes, but they don't lie. Like everything that a CIG employee says is to their best knowledge, because they understand that if they try to lie about something, like, oh yeah, the game is totally gonna have 0G thruster boots, which you could then use to slay dragons. Like, they say that kind of shit, people will call them out on it real quickly.
Well, that was the temporary chairman last week. So.
Yeah.
That's confirmed.
Space Dragons confirmed,
Space
yeah.
Dragons confirmed.
Is people will accuse them of lying because things change. And when they tell you something, it is as
Subject to
accurate
change,
as possible to the best
At the
of their
time they
knowledge
say
at
it.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, and things do change, and they also tell you that. And they're pretty good about saying, as of right now, the plan is to do this. Not that for sure, upon release, we're going to have a PvP slider. It's not for sure upon release we're going to have a PvP slider.
It's in the plans.
That's one of the ideas.
That's what they're going for. That's the goal.
If it doesn't
And
work, if it sucks, then
but-
they'll drop it and they'll figure something else out.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. As Lando likes to say, we reserve the right to do something better or something like
Change
that.
things
To
for the
change
better,
things for
yeah.
the better. Yeah.
I love
We're
that.
saying about things changing. It's like like we're on like episode like 70 something of the podcast. We've been going for like almost 2 years now. And it's like I've had people like message me about like, hey, like they just listen to a podcast that was like a year and a half old, and it's just like, you guys said Star Marine's coming out like next week. It's like, no, Jay, I'm sorry, you can't hold me to that. That's not my fault.
No, they said it was coming out in March. They didn't say which March.
They did say weeks, not months, though, and I think that's one the big thing that it'll hold over CIG forever, and we will never probably understand about what happened with Star Marine, but I almost 100% am sure is that what happened with Star Marine is some people fucked up, and those people aren't working for CIG anymore. That's what happened.
Hey, there are some people who left this year. Well, this past year.
Let's blame them.
Blame them. Well, no,
There's also companies
That don't work with them anymore. Yeah.
Yes, and there's also honest mistakes that fucking happen sometimes.
and fuck ups happen. They happen. You adjust and
I
move
honestly
on.
think, based on what we know about Star Marine and where the development has been for the last year, that I think it was Fiendish Feather's explanation of what he thought happened, not what he knew happened, what he thought happened on Reddit was pretty good. And that's that they went to do a demo of it at Gamescom last year, and when they went to do that, all the animations just froze, and everything was stuck in T-pose. And they realized we have to go back and redo all these animations. And it makes sense because all we've heard about on Star Marine work and first person in general work, then is animation this, animation that, reshooting animations, redoing animations, redoing the skeletons, all that.
And I think the same thing happened with the female model. I'm sure because we know that Delvac and I know there's a female model in game. It exists. It existed for a while.
We were gonna use it. We were gonna use it for bulkheads for a while. Yeah. Like what you're saying is, me and Fiendish for bulkheads, we dig through the game files for assets, and we dig through old builds, including we have access to assets that are straight Star Marine assets, like the Gold Horizon Station and all that. And we're not going to blatantly use Gold Horizon Station, period. But we rip out a texture here, a wall here, some chairs, some stuff like that, and we build our own environments, right? But those are a lot of the assets that we use. And guess what? The Star Marine's pretty done. It's pretty, that shit's done. Yeah. It was done.
Already playing it.
It was done a while ago.
Well, and a lot of the stuff we have now.
The things that weren't done, the animations are fucky. Everything, 1 in 3 animations are just don't work. Straight up.
Dronix, one of the problems with the female model, apparently in the original iteration, is for reasons known only to Imaginarium, they shot all the motion capture with a model wearing heels, which means that if they were going to have the female character run around, she had to always be wearing heels, because that's just the way motion capture works. So they had to go back and fix that.
I was going to say, that's probably something that's fucked up with the motion capture, and so they had to go back and they crafted the model. They didn't motion capture it. They crafted the model from scratch, and that takes a fuck ton more work than just going and motion capturing.
Yeah, the current female model in the files, this is kind of a fun factoid because I don't think anyone actually really knows this. She does exist. It's very limited. It's literally just spaceman with boobies and with no face.
So that's pretty much what I am in real life.
Yeah,
pretty much. But there's only one animation that really works, and that's sitting down, and she's like, "Hey," it's like this. Typing and then hey, what's up? Those are the only positions you can have her in, or without bending into herself and that shit. And unless you want that, there's 3 forms that work, and that's it.
I was a hardcore follower of DayZ from the earliest of the mods to the most recent standalone. I dropped out of following it in the last 2 years, but one of the things they constantly talked about was how they had to redo the skeleton and re-rig animations, and everyone's like, that doesn't take that long, and it took them so long to do because they had such a small crew. But even then, animations and rigging skeletons sucks. No animator wants to do it. It's pain in the ass, and the more for instance, in their case, they were using a simplified Arma skin or Arma, so they had to reduce the number of bones that were in there. But Arma has some stupid number of joints and bones that exist in the in their engine, and I know that they were going for realistic with Star Citizen. So if you can imagine, I don't know, I think they've said it at one point how many bones are in the model. It's
100 around somewhere.
It's 150 or something stupid that. It's less than the human body, but it's a lot, and that's a lot. That's every single one of those needs to be modeled and works and animated properly to work with everything else around it, and you have to do that, and that can take weeks just to do one. I mean, it can take a long time. I should say that. I shouldn't say weeks. I should say it takes a long time.
I have a friend who works in 3D design and somewhere down there in California, probably Hollywood or somewhere like that works on movies and stuff. And he's been doing it since the 90s. And he said he loves it except for one thing, making joints. Mm-hmm. So he absolutely despises that aspect of designing the character because it's even when you get it down, you never get it right the first time. And his quote is, "You need to hit a solid joint just to calm yourself down enough to make a solid joint."
I was about to say, to be clear, there's someone in LA that hates joints.
Yep.
Here's the thing. When we were kind of initially concepting Bulkheads 2.0, because Bulkheads were supposed to happen months ago, before Disco got hired, he was working on Bulkheads.
He was the main producer and writer of Bulkheads.
And then he got hired, and then everything fell apart, and then so me and Fiendish kind of resurrected the progress, the whole project. One of the main things we decided early on, and that actually had been decided with Bulkheads 1.0, was that we were never going to show faces ever, because the fucking potato face spaceman action going on there. B is because animating the faces in any real form would be hellish. Because we could export the facial model fine into another program if we wanted to animate it, but you can't export the joints or any of that stuff We essentially have to we would essentially have to re-rig the entire thing. We played around with that a little bit, but if you want to like actually have facial animations, you actually have to have access to all that stuff, and it would have basically would have meant we would have to re-rig everything from scratch, and which is essentially be a full-time job for a while. And so, fuck that.
Just nope.
Yeah, so pretty much, that's why everyone has
opaque
helmet and Vulcans, just because fuck that. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, and you can look at almost any look at Machinima's Clear Skies, where they did full voiceover with lip flaps and everything, and people were like, we want more. I'm like, it took them probably 2 years to animate that number of lip flaps for over the course of 2 hours in which they did that movie.
Have you ever seen what's the Warhammer 40K one that's perpetually being made? Inquisitor?
Lord
Inquisitor.
Crusade or something like that?
Lord Inquisitor.
Yeah.
It's like an actual Crytek employee who's been making this Warhammer 40K Machinima short. There's a really cool trailer on YouTube from 2 years ago, and it looks phenomenal. It's made by one guy, but it's been made. It's been in development since 2007, and it's it's just a little short film. Just because it's one guy, and it's he's a professional. He makes CryEngine. That's his job, and it's just oh my god, it's just so much work that
doing
people
it on
don't
his free
realize why
time.
it's taking so long.
Does he work in our Frankfurt office now, or what?
Honestly,
He might actually work in the Frankfurt office because there's some.
Maybe that's why he's got no time to work on it anymore.
Yeah.
I should go find that out. Actually,
it's actually Brian Chambers.
Yeah. It wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Though I do want to say this because we brought this up last time, but nobody heard about this, so now we can argue about it for another hour. I'm going to make the statement, and I can get completely wrong. Please quote me and say I'm an official CIG employee.
wait, hold on. Wait.
Record it.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm prepared now.
Thank you. I don't believe the Star Citizen HOTAS will ever be made. Not because of CIG, but because of SciTech.
I agree.
I think it'll be made. I just don't think it's going to do anything once it's released. I see people that are stupid enough to not listen to joystick people buying it, and then them getting pissed off about it, and that's the end of life.
But what could possibly be the problem? It's SciTech. They're the #1 joystick manufacturer in the world.
They don't have
they have no acknowledged quality control issue.
They don't have a quality control issue because they deny that it exists.
And like I said last time, for a while there, the Pinto was the #1 car in the United States. That doesn't mean it was a good car. For a while there, the Yugo was the #1 car in the world.
It's another point of pride for the world, I'll be honest.
So honestly, and I'm going to say this because I believe it to be true, I think Thrustmaster did the right thing in turning CIG down because CIG demanded a custom stick made from scratch, and anyone who can look at this in retrospect, I think, can see that it was a bad idea. Thrustmaster saw the popularity of space games, and they said, let's take our most popular, well-sold stick and turn it into a HOTAS. So the Thrustmaster T1600M FCM.
T16000M.
6000. T16000.
He's called it T1600 for 2 years now. It's not going to stop.
It's T16000M, and it's not. You guys said it was SCM. It's FS.
Yep.
It's flight control system.
There's the SCM is what they were calling just the stick. The FCS is what they were calling the whole thing.
Yeah, the FCS is
flight control system. Yeah,
is completely the right move, and they've partnered with Frontier about it, and Frontier was very supportive of it, and it's designed around Elite Dangerous. It's the closest thing we'll get to a Elite Dangerous stick, and they're not changing much. They're not changing sticks specifically for Elite, but it's a stick that will work. And everyone knows who uses stick that is in a budget range. The T16000M is the best budget stick that exists.
Absolutely,
hands down.
Absolutely.
And so the FCM version with its throttle, I think, will be the best budget
Right.
HOTAS.
And what we know of the changes that were made, they made it easier to determine what buttons your hand was on the base, which is a huge thing. I don't use those base buttons at all because they're all the same. And unless you look down at them, you don't know what you're pushing, and that just don't work for me. So they put little bumps on them so you got to figure out which button your finger's on. And the other is supposedly they've improved the durability of the trigger and the secondary trigger button, which is a big need because they are just buttons. They're not switches like they are on other sticks, and those do die under heavy use. And like for me, I think it took about 1,000 hours or so of Star Citizen before my first one died. But so it's still a long time for your average gamer, but for a heavy duty gamer, a T16000M can die way too quickly, which is why I have mine all set up the way it is now with a CH stick on top, which is far superior. It's a stick that's that top half and everything in it is, I think it's 12 or 14 years old now. I want to say it's 14 years old now, and it all works, all original and all still works.
The difference is that a Thrustmaster T16000M, even though it can break for heavy use, it's replaceable. It's incredibly replaceable.
Yep.
$45 is super cheap, and even
I bought all four of mine for $25 each on sale.
Yeah, you can get them on sale for $25. The new one's coming out. It's still going to be about $50 is what they're shooting for, and they're going to sell the throttle individually from the stick as well as last time I heard. So they're selling the throttle and the stick separately because they're two separate. They don't work in tandem like the X25.
They're not cringe connected or anything. They're just two USB plugs.
Yep. Yeah. But they are designed to work. If you plug them in and fire up the Target software, which I to be clear, I hate Target software, so that's just a personal thing. But if you plug them in and fire it up, it will automatically sync them as one ID, one controller for games that don't natively support multiple controllers, for example. So that's also part of the design behind it. You can literally plug those really crappy-looking pedals they have coming out. I don't like the look of those pedals at all. But all three of those together, and it's going to be one controller as far as the game that you're using is concerned.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that they can be used individual from each other. They don't have to be together, and they're designed around space games. They're designed around Elite Dangerous, but they are smart enough to say we're not going to make an Elite Dangerous HOTAS. We're going to make a stick and throttle that will work with Elite Dangerous, and with that in mind, but it can be used for everything. And even though the Star Citizen HOTAS is branded with Star Citizen HOTAS, and everyone's like, yeah, but it can be used with a lot of things, it's not going to be bought. People who don't have Star Citizen aren't going to buy that stick. Yeah. Because
especially if you're an Elite Dangerous enthusiast, the last thing you want to be doing is flying your Cobra with a stick that says Robert Space Industries across it.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Just like if you're in DCS, you're not going to be wanting to fly your F-16 in DCS with a stick that's designed for supposedly a spaceship. Even if it isn't really, it's still basically just another HOTAS. You're not going to be wanting to use it because it's going to ruin the feeling of what you're doing.
They should just sell sticker sets for which game you want.
Oh, that's the thing is that
you change games, peel off the sticker, put a new sticker on.
And that's the thing is that I think that's where they fucked up. They said we want a custom built one. It's like, and everyone's like, oh, we'll give you a branded one, and they're like, no, we don't want a branded one. It's like I would take a branded Star Citizen T16000M SCM. I would.
So just like a screw-on snap set of colors, like RSI colors for the stick.
Yeah, or like a place where you can put like a patch, where
the famous thing that they used to come with flight simulator games. Stoutman probably remembers this because he's been playing games for a long time like me. Flight simulator games used to actually come with sticker sets that you could then put on your joystick buttons and on your keyboard for that, or even keyboard overlays. Do you remember those, Stoutman? The little pop-out overlays?
Yeah, the overlay would just...
Yep. It would just slide right on your keyboard, and it would make your keyboard look like the cockpit or whatever. Little things like that that would make it, all the difference in the world. My T16000, they have a basic profile for T16000 right now in game. Sell me a sticker set that I can put on all these buttons that I can't tell what they are. That actually says, instead of me looking down and going, what the hell is 10 again? It actually says flare. Red button that says flare. Yeah, Tell me that, and I'll use that.
Yeah, and I think in the long run, that Frontier did a better job, and I don't think that SciTech. It's not SciTech's fault that they took it. It's just that SciTech isn't in a financial position to make.
No, they're in a great financial position for insolvency.
They're broke as fuck. All right, I mean, it's just
Well,
there's no ways about it.
Sci-Tech's not broke as fuck. Mad Catz is broke as fuck.
Here's the
There's
thing,
a
though.
distinction.
If Sci-Tech can deliver a stick of a quality I would put close to what they once did, called the X65F, 4-star Citizen, it could save them. It really could, because you've got a million potential customers out there, and something like 60% of them want to use a joystick in the game, would buy a stick that good.
And originally they were talking about like the advanced model of the Hotstar was supposed to be based on the X65.
But
I'd like to clarify, as long as it doesn't have the X65 price point.
Yeah,
That's the
other
problem.
thing. The price point of the X65 was out there, but it was worth it. It was worth every penny. Anybody who's ever used an X65 will tell you that. But the other aspect of that is, if they were going to do that, I think we'd already see another X65 on the market separate, because they would already be working on that.
Yeah.
And they haven't shown any indication. They're still sticking with the Conan Spring system that has been a colossal failure for 10 years now.
It's a huge problem when 1/3 of your products get returned because they're faulty. 1/3 of Sci-Tech products get returned, and
Not necessarily faulty. Sometimes it is just didn't meet expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But sometimes didn't meet expectations is like, this stick sucks because everything's wrong with it.
And here's the thing: when you go onto any flight simulator forum and say, "I've got an X52 or I've got an X55," it feels a little weird. Or what should I do with it? How should I set it up? When the first thing everybody tells you to do is
return
buy the magnet mod.
Yeah.
Install the magnet mod yourself. Right there, you've got a problem. If it requires for people to use it, that it get modified at home, that you void the warranty essentially, that's a design problem. You know,
and I think the problem is that the biggest problem is that Sci-Tech doesn't agree that it has a problem. And as to make a horrible joke about people's lives, 1/3 of their staff was recently returned void as well. Returned.
30. Yeah,
They RMA'd their staff. It was
the RMA their staff, 1/3 of their staff, because 1/3 of their staff was fired because they were so insolvent. And I don't see, this is not a situation, this is not a picture that says they're going to make an expensive stick for a niche market in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I also agree
very
with
much of an investment.
what he just said, that like the whole touch screen LCD thing.
Yeah.
That's not the answer. That's an added peripheral if you want it. That shouldn't be a part of the design. Just buttons, like you said, just LCD buttons. Something like that. Don't do that whole.
Trying to come out with this too early too. The game hasn't gone mainstream to where it's going to have millions and millions of people playing it yet.
Yeah.
However, if they were going to
do that, and the company Sci-Tech didn't really believe in it because they don't see the sales potential. It's more down the road. And CIG is being really perfectionist about it too. So there's a combination of things that it's not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that's kind of like interesting, little tidbit here. So, like a couple months ago, like when they announced the stick at Gamescom, it was at Gamescom, was it?
Yes.
And they showed it off again at CitizenCon.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually showed like a weird prototype thing that was like knocked over.
It was broken.
Yeah. I don't know. But like we did some hunting. We contacted some Mad Catz people and some Sci-Tech people. We had an article up because we actually managed to get in contact and get some actual answers out of them. Like about this thing. We actually got some actual statements from them. And we in that we made some contacts, some PR people.
Right.
And actually a few people who weren't PR. Don't tell anybody about that. And like it was really nice because it was like really informal.
Don't tell anybody. He's on a public podcast that's going to be on the internet forever.
And
there's only some 100 viewers watching. It's fine.
We went and talked. We tried to contact those people a month ago. At this point, like, hey, maybe we could have a little chat, have a little do this Arcle V2, right? And like, we're not interested about talking about that product at this time right now. I'm like, all right, I get what you're talking about.
It
And
always.
this is from like people who were just like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And there was like swear words in the emails. There was just like it was just really informal, and it was just like, "Hello, sir. We do not want to discuss this SKU right now. At this time." We're like, "Okay, Jesus."
That tells me that if that's the case, that tells me that it will never be canceled officially, because I'm sure they signed a contract with CIG, and they have to fulfill the contract. But it will never happen.
Yeah, it will never happen to the standards that we'd want.
Yeah,
we
we
knew
might get it
something was
eventually.
wrong
It'll
back
be
in
shit.
January when they said next week we're going to start doing pre-orders, and then 2 weeks pass and they say nothing. And they say, yeah, we're not ready to do that yet. And that was the last thing pretty much the last thing they said on the stick, other than it's still in the works.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
So,
The thing is, so the end result of this, which is kind of fun, is we then start scoping out every other company making sticks right now, which is not a lot. But we got Thrustmaster and Logitech, and we got a whole bunch of sticks heading to various INN locations right now, which is going to be a big mega review at some point. Of like, hey, this is how all these sticks work with Star Citizen.
yeah.
Categorically down the list.
No, I'm seriously hoping to talk to Thrustmaster and see if I can't get an FCS to review, because I love the 16,000M.
They're pretty open to that, so
I wouldn't worry too much about that, Paul. I think we already got that covered for us.
Yeah.
I'd like to clarify. I can tell you what the Logitech review is going to be. These potentiometers are shite.
Yeah.
That's the Logitech review.
garbage.
Add to it, though, I will say this. For the price point of the Logitech sticks, it is not bad at all.
No, they're not.
Logitech, if
$35 for a fucking
was-
stick. Yes, you get what you pay for. You know.
This thing has served me well.
You use it as paperweight?
I mean,
But yeah,
if you get
no,
30 hours of gameplay, if you get $30 30 hours out of those things, then it's worth it. It's
Well,
a
and
dollar
if
per
you're
hour.
not a combat pilot either, you don't necessarily need a precision stick. You know, that's the other thing. If you're going to be primarily flying a big ship or just hauling cargo, you know, whatever stick you have should be able to do that for you. I mean, so there's that aspect of it too. But it's when you start becoming a combat pilot that you want a precision stick. You want one that's not going to fail on you. It's not going to do the sci-tech thing where it worked fine for 2 months and then suddenly you go to pull a yaw to the left and you're spinning to the right out of control. You don't know why. And
The thing about sci-tech, and I'm going to say this real quickly, they either are utter garbage in 2 months or they last forever.
Yeah.
There is no in-between zone.
except the springs do wear out. They always wear out, so you have to replace those bastards.
Yeah, no, like my spring broke. That's what, and I wasn't bothering on getting a new one. I just got a T16000M, and I've never had a problem since.
Yeah,
So-
I'd also like to point out, I mean, if you want to get absolutely no questions, the best stick on the market right now, clearly your answer is VKB Products Fat Black Mamba.
Yeah, but
If you can get one.
if you can get one, and if you can get one, you're probably going to be on a wait list for 6 years. I'm sorry, 2 years.
It's the A-team of flight sticks. It's if you can find them and if you can afford them.
Yeah, they're amazing. There are people who are millionaires who can't get sticks from Black Mamba because they're just like, nope, we have a waiting list of the Pope is got on that damn
Last
list,
time I
you know?
checked on the waiting list, they had actually slimmed it down to 6 months. But it's 6 months from order to when they start making it, your stick. That's the thing, is they make the sticks to order. So
It makes sense.
They're like an old British, they're like an old British bespoke car company, really.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that last time I had heard rumors that VKS was right.
VKB, yeah.
VKB is actually making a Star Citizen HOTAS. Custom Star Citizen HOTAS that they're designed for Star Citizen, but it's not. They're not going it through CIG. They're just doing it on their own.
it might be somebody probably contracted them to make one for them,
Yeah.
and they're going to go ahead and keep going that
That's
direction.
probably what it
I
was.
mean,
But I'd heard
for
about
them,
that.
if you're making joysticks right now and you're looking at the market, you're going to be saying to
Sims.
yourself,
Space
"Yeah,
Sims.
I need to start making something that targets space sims because they're getting big."
Yeah, I mean, look at it. We've got House of the Dying Sun. We've got Elite. We've got Star Citizen. We've got Squadron 42 coming out. You've got Call of Duty is going to have a flight sim part of its game. Call of Duty is right. So
Which, by the way, everyone's shitting on that thing. I'm so fucking hyped for that.
That's the thing.
I'm
Here's
with
the
you on
thing.
that, Joel.
Your average
This
battle.
is the first one I've been excited for in years.
Your average shooter-
This is gonna be the one.
Your average shooter fan hates the concept, but all of the space game fans are like, "Call of Duty, you're speaking my language now." Suddenly, like it's like I've heard people as much as like I've heard Captain Richard say, "I'm excited for Call of Duty," and I was just like, "What? How are you people?" I was angry Call of Duty after Black Ops 1. I can't go back to just because they're going to space. No.
Just take one moment to read chat, I'm just going to say. Just the salt has begun to flow.
I'm not joking when I say I've gotten hate mail over saying that I'm probably going to get and play that.
Me too.
I
I'm
somehow
so fucking into that shit.
somebody's children by suggesting that I want to play a video game.
It's gonna be like surface level. It's not gonna be Star. It's not a fucking space sim. It's gonna be Call of Duty in space. But you know what? That's fucking rad. I'm into that.
Yeah, it's gonna. Well, it looks to me like an arcade version of Squadron 42, and that sounds like a blast.
That's exactly what it is, and they even kind of said
It's
that because
spectacle.
the
It's a giant
actual developers have said they were inspired by Wing Commander to make it, and Chris Roberts, which tells me that they were like, "Fuck, Squadron 42 looks amazing."
Yeah,
Maybe
we want to
beat
get
them
this
to
out
market.
before Squadron 42.
Maybe we could beat them to market. You know, that's what it was.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, if it's good, people will want to buy Squadron 42 more.
The night that
yeah.
they showed off the actual gameplay, like from like the Sony press conference at E3, like there's a whole bunch of like that, you know, that the whole weird anti-Star Citizen faction. They're like, oh my god, Star Citizens are on fucking suicide watch. Oh my god, guys. I'm like, I'm not a Star Citizen fan. I'm just a Space Sim fan.
I think a lot of us are Star Citizen fans, not because we're Star Citizen fans hardcore, it's but because we enjoy the concept of what Star Citizen's giving us.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing a lot of Life is Feudal, but that's part of the reason why I like Life is Feudal is because it's an open world game that has survival elements that people are, you know, that requires cooperation. All of those things, except for the fact that it's a survival game and it's set in space instead of medieval times, are the same kind of concepts and reason why I'm so excited about Star Citizen. I like Elite for its own reasons. I like Take on Mars for the same similar reasons. So space as a genre is a big genre. It's not just space sims, but in general. I think I'm not excited about Call of Duty Infinity.
I will fight you.
I will probably eventually get it when it's cheaper, when it goes on sale the day afterwards for $30 because they're getting their butt kicked, like literally just absolutely red spanked by Battlefield. But I am excited. I am excited about Titanfall 2 for the same reason, because Titanfall 2.
Me too. It looks cool. Actually,
It looks cool.
Yeah,
It's a space.
I'm not excited about that.
It's an
Titanfall 1 was a good video game that suffered from a lot of issues, and it looks like
being
those
pushed out
issues-
too far. Yeah, being pushed out too early. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like those issues. Okay, Titanfall 2 was a really, really, really good multiplayer shooter.
Titanfall 1, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, Titanfall 1 was a really, really good multiplayer shooter. It's some really cool elements. The mechs were a little bit shallow. The base combat was rad, and the flow of the game was really,
And you
really
know it was good because Call of Duty then proceeded to rip it off for the
exactly. Like
iterations.
not Call of Duty. Every FPS in the fucking universe is like
wall running.
Oh, yeah,
Wall
we
running.
should fucking get wall running back.
Yeah.
Like that's what they all did.
Yeah, wall running became a thing again. You know, because
And now you get a little robot buddy, and I loved how the robots would pick you up and spit you in your face, in their face. I'll eat you.
I mean, it's gonna be it's like Wall-E
good.
with Death Machine, you know, like with weapons. Wall-E with
You
weapons.
get, and in this, you get like a sentient RoboPal, and there's an actual campaign, and you get to hang out, do robot bud things,
Kill things. Yeah, it's like
RoboBuds.
In the meantime, I'm going to go out and watch Real Steel again because that was a great movie.
Yeah, it was good. I actually liked that movie. I don't think
It was fun.
It wasn't a
wasn't
great movie.
intelligent.
That far.
or Pacific Rim. You know,
Specifically.
I love Pacific Rim. I don't understand what's not to like about Pacific Rim.
By the way,
a giant fucking robot literally rocket punches a giant fucking dinosaur. That's all you need to know. And it's like, I remember when
Pacific Rim is cool,
when it was first
and
being
that's
announced.
kind of where it ends.
Well, that's the thing. I remember when it was first being announced, and people were like, "Well, what's it about?" I'm like, what do you mean, what's it about? A giant fucking robot rocket punches
it's
a
giant.
dinosaur.
It's giant mecha gaiju fighting. It's what it is.
Yeah,
it's
I
Japan
really like
the
that
movie. You know,
I really like that movie. I would hesitate to call it good though.
It was a good movie.
enjoy
It was a
watching
good
that
movie. I wouldn't call it a classic. I wouldn't call it great. I would say it's a good, fun movie.
If
I
you
would
want
say
to
it was
watch
worth
that
the
movie
price of admission.
right now,
Yeah.
I would leave and go watch that movie with you. Right the fuck now.
Here's the thing about it, and I realized this. I first saw it in the theater, and then I watched it again at home, and it misses out so much on the small screen. It's one of those movies that if you don't have that full big screen 3D experience with the surround sound and Dolby Digital and all that, it really loses it because it's all flash, and you need that extra that extra oomph to give the flash's power.
All right, so going back to Star Citizen. Now we've gone on that huge rant. Anyways,
I mean, I'm a Call of Duty man now.
this is
Yeah,
this
screw
is
the
where the
Star Citizen
this is what
podcast.
Captain's Table turns into sometimes, guys. We just sometimes just go on a rant and we just go with it.
like my
Jump into a segue and right off.
His head at the whole thing the whole time.
My point was there's a lot of space games out there, and Star Citizen is we're Star Citizen fans, but we're Star Citizen fans because we like the genre, not because we're just fanboys. Because
I'm a Star Citizen fan, but I'm a space sim fan first
Yeah.
and primarily.
Yeah.
No, man, Chris Roberts is the best developer of all time.
I'll fight you otherwise.
But
Well, he's no Peter Molyneux, but he's pretty good.
God. To Lionhead Studios, man, that don't even that hurts.
It still cuts deep.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to say is that I'm not excited necessarily for the bangle, but what I'm excited for is Grimhex and the UI changes, because those seems like those will be implemented before the bangle shows up.
Do we know if we're getting the UI changes for sure?
Here's
We
the
are
thing
for
about
sure,
the
but
UI changes, and every time they show it off, we're gonna see it soon, and then we never do. I really think Zane is maybe too much of a perfectionist, and he never reaches the point where he's ready to let us play with it. And
I think he's gonna
Keep coming up with a better way of doing it.
He
probably.
works for Aaron now. All right, he doesn't work for Chris. He works for Aaron now. And one thing I know the difference between Aaron and Chris is Chris might say, "Zane, do it better if you can." Aaron will eventually be like, "That's fantastic. You're putting it in." But it just you're putting it in.
We'll iterate from there later if we need to.
Yeah. But right now, let's get into the game. And they're going to have to do it with things like 2.7 coming out. They're going to have the ability to put navigation markers, and you won't be able to see Arc Core from Crusader. You just won't. It'll be a dot in the distance. And if you have all of these sensor buoys like we have around Crusader, imagine how many they're going to have to be, and then imagine how many players are going to be around there, and public enemies and all these other sorts of things. So you're going to need a way to unclutter the UI, and the best way to do it is what they've already started to do.
Oh, and that's the one thing they showed in that UI thing that I'm the most excited. The thing I've been requesting the most for the universe since basically quantum travel came in is a way to filter those fucking jump points. So that if I want to go to the repair station, I don't have to like squint with one eye, tilt my head to the left, and zoom in all the way to see if I'm actually pointed at the repair station or the freaking
Coming right next to it. Yeah.
Actually 300,000 kilometers away, but showing up right next to it because of how far away I am from the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And there's someone else put, I want FPS indicators for my HUD. I think that's a given, and I think that's going to end up in the game faster than you think. The reason why it hasn't been in there, I'm sure, it has to do with the fact that if you look at the indicators now of where names are, sometimes they're above the head, sometimes they're at their feet. So they have a problem with how the HUDs are working. It's a problem with, I'm sure, with CryEngine, not necessarily with the game itself. And so they're
I had a guy the other day on my Constellation, and I was trying to figure out who this guy was because I couldn't see his name.
It's circles.
And he was sitting down, and when he stood up, I could finally see his name, and it was about 3 feet behind his ass level, tilted like 90 degrees to the side. So it was like it was vertically shoved in his ass crack, basically.
I think the names are actually like in a sphere, like they're connected to a sphere, and they're connected to a sphere based on the perspective.
I've seen that because I've seen it. If I'm onto the ship, it'll just be doing this in a circle around the body.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is happening?
I'd also like to point out with the UI changes, remember we did see what looked like a concept for the new holotable.
Yeah.
We are getting the holotable back. I'm sorry about that.
No, that wasn't actually a holotable. That was for...
that was still in the Moby-Glass, yeah.
No, the one that you saw, I'm just going to correct you right there, that's not actually a holotable. That's for a capital ship.
Like the engineering station.
For the capital ship.
And we saw concepting for that on Sandy's Facebook last February.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've been seeing like the major theme for that interface has not changed because remember the old like the cargo post from back in the day?
Yeah.
They're just like that. It's like it's very similar. It's like obviously like very. It's not like been like super iterative and like changed greatly.
Well,
it's they're going down the same path still.
Look at the UI for the different ships. All of them are becoming more unique for each ship manufacturer. And I think that's the situation, is that you're getting to the point where they're making Microtech's Moby-Glass's UI interface. They're nailing it down. And so when we get it, it's not going to change much when we get it. But right now, what we've got is placeholder.
Well, Say that one more time. Like, I don't think the mobiGlas interface is going to change.
I don't think it's going to change much once it's released. But right now, it's different. Like the one that's going to be it's right now is totally placeholder. It's never going. That's not what we're going to get.
Yeah,
And we're going to get the next one we're going to get is probably going to be the same one we get forever. They may have some minor changes, but the style, because it looks like it's going to kind of have like a curved front with like a facing, like a curved sloped front, and then there's like a straight facing portion. I think that's what we'll get.
One of the things we talked about last night on the Space Bros show that new mobiGlas will allow us to do once it's locked in, that I think is extremely useful, is to find an actual use for the Roccat Power Grid. Because if the Roccat Power Grid is that tablet app that allows you to control your game. Right now, people have it set up to control their shields and whatnot, and it's not really that handy or any more handy than using your keyboard or voice attack or anything else. However, with the mobiGlas, that would be useful to have a tablet sitting off to your left or your right or whatever that has basically the mobiGlas interface, and you tap it, it brings up mobiGlas on screen. You tap the buttons, etc. Then you don't have to reach over and grab your mouse if you're flying or whatever. You don't have to swap views or anything like that.
That would be a great thing for a mobile app. Honestly, it's a great thing for a mobile app. It'd be a great idea. So I can just pull out my phone and be like, while I'm flying, be like, okay, I can do this real quickly, change this around. All right, cool, we're good to go. That's the same concept. I think.
Haven't they talked about like a mobile app for like a long time?
It was part of the stretch goals. It's a stretch goal.
Stretch goal.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the plans, but the thing is they have to. Everything is changing so much in the last couple of years that they probably want to nail down the API for how they're going to do it.
All the stuff isn't built yet.
Yeah.
And they won't be able to do it without the Cry network change.
Yeah, because there's lots of things that have to change around for it to work.
I was so disappointed. They talked about the Cry network changes for like 20 seconds on HTTP.
I love that. I love that. I said they're like, now we're going to talk about our network guys, and he's like, we're going to fix your FPS issues. We're going to get more players in, and then we're going to get the servers to talk to each other. Thanks, network engineer. Which is like, he knew it was like one of those situations where I'm sure they had much more longer. He's like, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And it was really long, and they looked back and like, can you summarize this? And he's like, yeah, sure. 3 things. Good. You're done.
I'm trying to murder the INN transcription team. Oh my god, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, like, the problem is that in many games, not just like Star Citizen, but in almost every game out there, netcode is part skill and part voodoo. Where someone has sacrificed the right chicken to the right god, and now suddenly your netcode works better. It's still very much
Quake 3.
Yeah, no, I mean it's an art form as much as it is an engineering feat, because each game has its own unique strategy. There's no like blanket thing you can do.
Ironically, John Carmack is that god you're supposed to sacrifice a chicken to get good netcode.
I don't know about that anymore.
Yeah, he was in the past.
Now it's all about face latency.
I have no idea what that is.
It's VR tracking. Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that, and he's still on the spaceships kick too. He's still making his own spaceships.
Yeah, Super Serious is right. It was goats. It's goats. You can't. The chicken just gets you the wrong kind of latency. You gotta get.
Goats is more of a Doom thing. So that's John. That's Carmack.
Yeah.
But like any network engineer will tell you that it's sometimes networks will do stupid things for literally no reason.
Is Farisalt over there just like mixing a drink?
Yeah, he's just making drinks.
He's
That's
just
how
like,
Farisalt works. And Stoutman is judging us all in our conversation.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Well, Stoutman worked in network engineering for quite some time, so that's why he's judging us. He's like, my job was not magic. There was some skill involved.
Oh no, but I'm sure, and it's become obvious with every time they interview or like they show pictures of guys working on the game, that they have engineers working on their game, and engineers aren't exactly the best people to be on screen. Like, you'll put an engineer on screen, and an engineer will be like, I have not, how do I interact? What are people?
Yeah.
Give me a computer.
I've heard tales from other CIG employees about Ahmed, who is their head guy for the whole cloud thing, and they do refer to him as almost like a magician, and he's also very intensely personal, doesn't like the public eye, doesn't like to be on camera and stuff like that. But they've said, I don't know how he does it. But he'll sit there and he'll say, you know what, I'm going to do this, and it works. And we're looking at it going, how does that even work?
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Like, apparently, there was a problem for Star Citizen, and they were thinking over it a long time, and then Sean
One of the
Tracy,
Fantasy Boy 2 guys, yeah.
he passed out. It was Sean Tracy who went to sleep, and he woke up. He said, "It came to me in a dream how to fix it," and then it worked. Like, seriously, like I heard that from Darian Vorlich's mouth at one point, and I was like, "They're dreaming fixes. This is how much they work on this game." Yeah, Farisol is actually mixing up netcode. Let's go to the questions because we've been talking for about an hour, and I want to get through some of these. You guys have
That's
questions
actually
for
a
the
pretty
cast?
good indication of Australian netcode right there. It runs about the speed of liquid, doesn't it?
And it doesn't stay in you for long.
It doesn't stay on for long.
There was actually like a thought back like a while back. Depending on like the actual size of Star Citizen, I then might organize like a kind of like a Aussie like hard drive thing, right? The idea being that
that was the original one because it was going to be so
we have
hard.
like we get like 50 portable hard drives, right? You have to put in like a $50 deposit, which you will get back. That's just to make sure that the hard drive leaves your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
You pin some money, you'll get it back eventually, and then like you get mailed a physical hard drive with a copy of the game that you can move to the hard drive.
There was actually
and then you send it to the next person in the chain.
no. There was actually some talk about Star Citizen. People saying we should probably, because of how big the game, they thought it was going to be 100 gigs, and they said, you know, what we should do is Star Citizen should partner with like Samsung or something like that, SSD drives, and buy SSD drives that were branded with Star Citizen and came with the game preloaded into the drives, like external drives. Because it would A, mean that you could just, all you have to do is plug in the drive, and B, it would increase sales, and C, people would stop bitching about the goddamn download speeds, you know. But
USB stick. I mean, they want to have a USB flash drive that just holds the entire game, and you get it sent to you.
Good luck.
It's a big ass flash drive.
Yeah. I'm sure there's 256 gigabyte flash drives out there.
There are.
They're
There's
just $1,000 each. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 500 gig ones floating around. The thing is, like, I think this is like the only real thing I've ever felt is kind of like a cop out from CIG. Let's talk about that ship thumb drive, guys.
That was pretty nasty looking, wasn't it?
No. I'm not even talking about how it looks. The implication originally was like the game was gonna be on that shit. Mm-hmm. Like they talked themselves into a corner there, which is kind of disappointing to me. That's like the only thing. Like, all right, CIG, bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
I mean, it was
they didn't think it out. They didn't think this through.
a lot of early CIG didn't think through. That's the problem. It's like a lot of early CIG that just didn't think about it. Now,
well, there you go.
I will say,
gigabyte flash
I will say one thing, because someone's already asked about it, and this will be the first question. What do you guys think about the Argo being in
Cool little ship, actually. Really cool little ship. I love the...
I can't hear you over the
ice shaking.
the apparently mariachi band you have running in the background.
Hold on. I the man singing with my shaker there. You know, his face off. You're in my establishment this time, please. Yeah.
That would be awesome, Harold. Yeah, Farisol needs to organize that. You have people randomly wander up and live
Pay
while you're
on
doing your
drink.
stream and get a drink.
I'll do it. I'll fly down to Australia just to do that.
I'm really excited for that little ship. It's a fantastic little ship. It's a utility ship designed to move a small amount of cargo. It's not. It might be re-entry capable. We don't know.
It doesn't have a quantum drive on it, though, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So
it's classified as a snub.
Yeah. It's designed. Like, I don't know who would buy it though. That's my big issue. Because if you have the capital ships, it already comes standard. It doesn't fit in any other ship.
Yeah, like if you have a ship that will make that ship even remotely useful, like you already have one, and like if you don't, like there's purpose to have a Merlin, there's purpose to have all these other stub fighters, right? There's fucking it's just like a shittier Aurora.
Isn't it supposed to be a tug though?
It's a tug. It's designed as a cargo tug. It's a space forklift, as someone described it.
If you want to know what the Argo looks like, go and watch the Morrow tour. That's what they arrive on.
Mm-hmm.
It's Aurora as fuck.
It also has less cargo than the Aurora. If you look at it, it's about half an Aurora cargo. So, I mean,
people want to be traders or cargo haulers, and that you could do that just in the local system, up and down, up from the planet up to orbit. With
I get
that.
it, and I can see it being useful having multiple Argos on like a large capital ship, or maybe having an Argo in a place where you're going to want to move a lot of cargo, like a guild hangar or something like that, like a org hangar. But I don't see the appeal for your average person. People are going to get it anyways. I'll probably get a couple and just give them away because I don't see, why not?
You know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think it was an Argo you arrived on the Moro
It
tour.
was an Argo.
It was a variant of it, but it's not what the Argos we've seen so far.
Correct. It's a variant. It's the cargo variant of the Argo.
Okay.
The Argo itself is, I think Captain Richard described it fairly well. It's like one of the heavy lift choppers. It's
That's right. And you just there's
Yeah.
various modules that just go in and changes what
Correct.
It's a search and rescue vehicle. Also, it's designed as a primitive search and rescue vehicle. So
Yeah.
so you can send an Argo out to go recover a downed pilot if it's not in a combat area. Like say there's an accident, a pilot has to eject, and an Argo
This
can go.
I don't know if I'm going to get timed out or not, but this is the version
Hold on,
that
let me give you permission.
Oh, I'm a mod, so I should be.
yeah.
The link that I just put in the chat, that's essentially the it's a gray box or what? Yeah, gray box version of the variant we saw in the Moro tour.
Yeah, and the
That
rest.
pod where they were flying in.
Yeah. So, how about that Terrapin? I was of assumption that Terrapin wasn't even being worked on. It lost. It lost the starter ship battle. So
Yeah.
I had no
Well, so did
idea.
the Hurricane. The Hurricane was in that batch of voting too. It was the Reliant, the Hurricane, and the Terrapin.
And the
Rock-
Hurricane
Reliant
was made by MISC, right?
No, Anvil, and it's
Anvil.
also on the list of ships that are being made now.
Fucking hell, man. I mean, like, I don't know if they're all good. I mean, I like the idea of having a starter salvage ship, and that's what it sounds like the Terrapin kind of is. I mean, it's a starter miner, but it's like a starter salvage miner.
Brutal.
Well,
It's brutal.
That actually matches really well with the idea of their Wave 3 ships. One of the things they mentioned a long time ago, and I can't remember who it was, so please don't try to cite me on who it was. It may have even been during the crowdfunding for the Space Traders board game. Someone mentioned it. The goal of the Wave 3 ships is to introduce specific trades, small ships. So we should be seeing, I really hope, a salvage ship. We've got the small mining ship already, and other professions. I'd love to see a small space botanist ship. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Small
I mean,
small repair ship.
we kind of have a small science vessel with the
Reliant.
Reliant.
Tana?
Yeah,
Tana?
Nah, the Tana's the fighting one, I think. It's
Sen. The Sen.
Sen, yeah. But it would be nice to see like a single-seater version of that. Like, and there's some other ones which we haven't even seen the.
Isn't the Mako the fighting one?
No, the Mako's the shark, which is the the space
Newsvan.
I just
space
realized
van.
all you can see is like Dolvac from the nose up. He's like Kilroy down there.
Yeah, he's just hanging out down there.
I thought he was Wilson from Home Improvement.
Yeah. For those who are interested, I actually have to crop it out because one thing that Zoom does is it pops up the name randomly of the person. So I try to do it so it looks a little bit better as we don't have the name. And so as a result, you can only see Dolvac's head right now. Dolvac is gone. There's no more Dolvac in the stream.
Now he's gone.
Now he's gone. So let's get to the actual questions though. If you have
Yeah, the
questions,
Mako's the
exclamation
news
point
van. That's
questions.
right.
Yeah.
Finger Lord's got it.
Exclamation point questions in chat will get you to ask questions. If you have any cast any questions for the cast or individual cast members, feel free to ask it. We will give you official answers that you can then complain on CIG forums about. Please post all your concern threads, care of Disco Lando.
Man, those official CIG employees on that Captain Table show are a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
There we are.
Well, where's my money being spent?
They get more sidetracked than the verse guys.
So the first question is from Headclot. Do you see that space station pick of Port Olisar or other station being blown up at the end of the monthly report?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it means that space stations will take damage.
Which we've known because they've been talking about that. They've been talking about that shit like for the past 2 months, piping and all that.
I have a feeling that because it was part of the Foundry 42 UK section, that it was probably a still from a sequence within Squadron 42 of a space station getting damaged or blowing up.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Pro tip on the lowdown: there's some real cool fucking big shit in Squadron 42.
I'm not sure if you know the term low down, but it normally doesn't involve speaking publicly on the internet.
Publicly on the internet too. Let's see how many people are watching right now. 118 people.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be gigantic, big
Crescendo popcorn movie.
Showstoppers that like they could only really orchestrate in a scripted environment.
Yeah, there's no way that this show would have worked at Star Citizen.
Pro tip: a lot of shit's gonna blow up, and a lot of that stuff's gonna be real fucking big.
Yeah, there's gonna be like flying through debris fields with your ass backwards, and your a hole in your canopy, and you're drunk, and there's
I believe the phrase you
there's
guys
a
are
Xeno on the like the back of your cockpit, like
And
trying to eat your
Alzheimer's
face.
kicked in.
Yeah, like
It's a
like you're
nightmare.
just nuts. It's like fucking Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
Squadron
had a
42,
baby.
guest directed by Michael Bay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so
and
Transform
we know that,
into a 18-wheeler in space.
yeah.
and we know that that Chris does not skimp on the grandeur whenever he can get it. You know, the more epic, the more absurd and show-stopping it can be, he wants it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hillary Clinton asks, "Who do you think will be the streamers or content creators CIG has invented to their next
Invited,
event?"
yeah.
None of us.
What was that?
Not this guy.
I don't. And just to be clear, most of us streamers all talk amongst each other, and that includes the big ones you can think of and the tiny ones.
Yeah.
None of us none of us know who's been invited, or we've all been told not to tell each other we've been invited.
Yeah, because the big guys,
freaking knows.
the biggest guys who stream Star Citizen, if they got invited to a CIG event as an official CIG streamer, they would tell everyone. And if they didn't tell everyone, if it was snuck in, they would be ostracized from the community. Because no, seriously, they would be because A, people would be pissed off that they didn't tell them and share the good news, and B, people would be really pissed off that CIG chose these big guys over the people who've been, who also been really, really loyal to the franchise and been streaming with large.
But yeah,
numbers.
we've all talked amongst each other, and so far, if somebody out there is if one of the streamers on this channel right now is one of the ones that has been invited, he ain't told the rest of us. That's he's not allowed to tell the rest of us or something. So whoever it is, it's a big hush right now.
We're not going to get invited to that, but one thing that happens is we end up showing up anyways, and they usually, if we show up and they recognize us, they'll usually usher us in early.
Gray-headed gamer, yes, I'm afraid I have something I've been meaning to admit to you. I have been talking to your wife. I'm sorry, but I have been giving her tips on which gigolos to go visit to make up for that.
Okay, this is weird. This is a weird thing. On my Twitter recommendations on like who to follow, it's like everyone's wives in the Star Citizen community. Like I've gotten all the Star Citizen people on Twitter. He's like, I don't know, it's the next step, I guess. You could go harass their wives now. I'm like, okay.
I mean, my wife always gets freaked out when people follow her through me. They're like, you know
Hey,
who this
Nighthawk
person is?
Zale's
I'm
like stalking you now.
like, I have no fucking clue who that is. Oh, wait, they're following me on Twitter. I'm like, oh, okay. Kind of
It's
thing.
like, it's like I just got followed by Nighthawk and Nighthawk's wife.
Yeah.
And
Nighthawk's wife is the biggest promoter of Star Citizen streamers out there, though.
Oh, she is. She retweets and favorites everything I do.
Yep.
So. All right. Dark Pepe. I thought it was
I'd like to,
Repe.
very,
Dark
very
Pepe.
quickly, I'd like to mention, I'm going to channel a specific Star Citizen streamer when I say that if someone gets chosen over the rest of us, this is bullshit CIG favoritism.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No, but I don't think they'll like the thing is that, for instance, I may show up. I'm planning on moving to Austin in a year, so I may show up at CIG Austin at some point, and I may I don't know, bomb a reverse the verse just because I'm there if I can. But it doesn't mean that CIG invited me over. It means that I probably showed up and they made the mistake of letting me in the
Right.
building.
Well, and that's
that.
I know they said we're flying them out or whatever. I also know that there are a lot of Star Citizen streamers worldwide who are planning on being at Gamescom, who already were planning on that, and that may be what they're talking about when they say we're flying them in. It's just that we know they're coming and we've invited them to stream, that kind of thing.
Look, if they want to come and
Wait. That's brand news to me. They've invited streamers to stream the game at Gamescom.
That's what they said on our RTV, is that, they've actually invited, or ATV, one of those two, I can't remember which one. But that they've invited Star Citizen streamers to stream as part of their 24/7 or whatever this is, 24/5 live stream they're doing from Gamescom. That's what the question was about.
Oh, okay. So
we know
essentially, do we know who
I'm
it is?
going to flip the table. I'm dipped later.
Yeah, I know who it is. I know
it's
it
not
is
me.
already.
So like, it's me. They didn't tell me not to tell anyone because it's not me. So I'm gonna be hosting the entire 24 hours. Dolvac right now. Tweet at Discolando. # Don't let Dolvac on the stream.
No, more than likely it's right because that's what happened with Elite Dangerous. Is that Elite Dangerous had a booth and they invited anyone who was going to be there who streamed the game.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, so
no, I don't think Bluesy. I don't think it's expenses paid. I think what it is there's, like I said, a bunch of streamers have already said that they're going to be there. They've already booked their tickets and whatnot. And CIG was already planning on doing live streams, and they basically just told those streamers, "Hey."
Cold lips. If it's Disco Lando who said that, then it's Bad News Baron. Like, there's no one else that Disco knows that.
Bullshit CIG favoritism.
Oh,
It's Bad News Baron.
I wonder who it could be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the biggest Star Citizen streamer. Maybe
And DJ
know.
Knight. Those are the two. They flew them out.
Captain
Yeah,
Richard.
DJ Knight.
Although I don't think Captain Richard's going to get.
I don't think it's Captain Richard. I think it's DJ Knight and Bad News Baron because those are the two that he knows really, really well.
Those two are a good combo.
Yeah.
Like those, both of those guys are
They're good guys. Like them.
swell.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Richard was mentioning earlier that he only just has enough leave to go to CitizenCon and
Right.
TwitchCon.
yeah, and I know that Tokyo is planning on going to there. So
Tokyo
Tokyo
is,
may be involved with
at
that
this
as well.
point.
I believe Ichiru and Meyer are going to be there as well.
Yeah.
Sergeant Gamble, I think, is going to be there.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah,
a hop,
yeah.
skip, and a jump for Sergeant Gamble. So it's like this.
Yeah, I mean it's Europe, so literally he
Like
just walked
everyone-
out of his door in whatever
you could
tiny little worthless country he lives in, and he's in another tiny little worthless country. And
I mean, the
That's
thing
how
is,
that
the
works.
Eurorail is amazing in Europe. Eurorail
Oh,
is
I love
stupid
Eurorail.
amazing, and it's cheap to get onto a train and just go anywhere in Europe.
Well, as long as you don't live in the UK, because, you can't go anywhere anymore.
Oh, I'm not going into that. That's a whole another bag of worms I don't want to get into.
Gamble says, "Well, invite or not, I will rush the gate." And like,
Oh no, but no. More than likely, if the question is who's going to be that's more than likely those are the two people because those are the two people who are big and the Disco Lando knows.
Gamble, get fucked, Eric.
Next question is from Aditius asks, can you compare this game between Elite Dangerous and EVE Online?
No.
No.
We don't know.
Not really.
Not really.
Right, next question.
Moving on.
The one thing I will say between this game and between this game and EVE is that EVE is a little bit more of an open economy, and this game is not planned to have that much of an
Yeah,
open economy.
it's first person EVE Online at a much smaller scale.
And it's very similar to controls to Elite, but first person experience, so you can actually get out of your ship.
Yeah, one of the biggest differences between there's two major differences between Elite and Star Citizen beyond just the
Scope.
the setting or the story or scope or whatever, and that's that one, you can get you're not your ship, you're a person, and so it's the person is what you're controlling, not a ship. You're controlling the person controlling the ship, that kind of thing. And the other is that the flight style. Elite deliberately chose to go for a more atmospheric style of flight, what most people are more accustomed to, as opposed to a Newtonian flight system, which Star Citizen is not a full Newtonian either. Don't go out saying that I'm saying that, because I know it's not. Star Citizen is a hybrid between that more of a atmospheric flight system and a Newtonian system with they all have 6 degrees of freedom, but it's easy, it's more accessible, and more, and in my opinion, it feels more realistic in Star Citizen than it does in Elite when you're doing the 6 degrees.
But the problem about comparing those games is that straight up, Star Citizen isn't done yet. So it's hard to compare a game that's in
And technically,
progress.
Elite isn't done yet either.
No, Elite's done. They released it. They released the game, even though it's not done yet. They've said it's a released product. They can get, if you say it's a released product, you can get ripped apart. That's the rule of the internets. So we can compare Elite to EVE, but this is not an Elite or EVE podcast, even though we do get on tangents. Next question comes from Get Me Out of Iraq. Did Farrah and McKitten plan to wear flower shirts today? Yes, they did.
Yes, we did. Actually,
they coordinated.
I got this shirt specifically because on an upcoming podcast sometime in the next couple of weeks, Farasalt will be one of the guests, Stoutman will be one of the guests, and Captain Zylo from CIG.
I wasn't invited. Me and Astro were just like...
I'm finding out right now.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
Farasalt...
haven't been invited either. That's the first I heard about it.
Well, it was brought up to you guys last week, and we talked about it and having Zylo on it and all that.
But you told us about that, but it wasn't that we were invited to be on there with Zylo.
Well, we didn't invite you, Paul. What are you talking about?
Dude, we're like the B team, dude.
The
Follow
whole
your
point
role.
was everybody else
I've accepted
on the
it.
screen but me wears Hawaiian shirts often. So I actually bought a Hawaiian shirt so that if we do this podcast, we will all be wearing Hawaiian shirts, and that's the reason why I've got it.
Yeah, you have to
Only
because
Hawaiian shirt.
yeah, and I can't be on that podcast because I will not wear a Hawaiian shirt with a vest and tie. It just doesn't work like that. If you guys have excellent questions in the chat. Next question is from Headclot. Do you think the private servers for modding tools and stretch goals will divide the community? Yes, no, explain. No, because it'll be implemented so late in development that we won't. That most of the time people will be looking for something new, anyways. I don't think it's coming out. It's not coming out in the first year of Star Citizen being released.
He's got his Walmart vest now.
Now you got to put a tie on.
that vest might
That's
be a little
his Pax
small for
Enforcer
you.
vest. Oh, that's awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
From back when I was in Boston. I don't know where the tie's gone.
Paul, wear a Hawaiian tie. That would actually be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'll wear a Hawaiian tie for you. That's what I'll do. I'll do that. No, but you guys think that private service and modding will divide the community down the line?
No. I think Star Citizen modding is going to enable some awesome mod games to come out. I don't think it's going to divide the community in any way.
No.
There's going to be two main divides. There's going to be one main divide. It's going to be vanilla, which is CIG servers.
Which is going to be
vanilla
huge
game,
compared to anything
and
else.
that's going to be the vast majority.
Right.
For a long time until that's not a thing anymore, like 20 years, and then it's all going to shift. But then it's also going to be private servers. Then it's going to be like a lot of content creators doing their own private shit.
Like I've already talked on my stream, like Twitch RP. Like there's going to be a Twitch RP server for.
There's probably going to be like a few major ones. There's like, hey, this is just the fucking Star Wars one.
Yeah,
And
Star Wars,
this
Star
is the
Trek.
Star Trek one.
Yeah.
This is the Battlestar one.
Yeah.
Like there's just going to be a few of those, and there's going to be a few like weird custom things. But those groups will probably have like a solid player base.
And they'll probably be much smaller.
Not going to compare.
Yeah, no, like
I'm really looking forward to seeing a total conversion for Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come out. I think it'll take a couple of years to make them, but I do think they'll come out.
and I don't think we're going to deal with systems like in Star Citizen. Like Star Citizen has so many systems, it's going to be so big that there's just not going to be any servers that will be able to handle that. People will have to like host their own servers.
Well, yeah, I have a feeling that private servers, private servers is a stretch goal, but I have a feeling that private servers is going to amount to renting a server from CIG because it's probably going to require that level, a level of hardware dedication that your average person is, or even organization, is not going to be able to afford.
And it's still not going to be the same size as CIG.
Right.
It's going to be a cut down version of Universe with maybe a handful of systems rather than the massive 150 systems we see now.
And the other thing about the other reason why I don't think there will be that big of a divide is what he just said about the massive systems is that CIG has said repeatedly in talking about this that private servers will not get the latest updates.
Yeah.
They will get them eventually, but it's going to the public server first. So when they introduce a new system, a new mission set, whatever, we're going to have it on the public server for quite a bit of time before it ever gets a chance to make it to a private server. And that's going to be one of the draws right there, is that,
I'd also like to point out, I think it was 10 for the Chairman. It was probably about 6 months ago at this point in time. I'm running on my tequila-addled memory, so don't cite me as a source.
Source says.
Source says. Sources close to Chris Roberts say. Is that they mentioned that the AI persistence won't be something that's coming across to the private servers at this point. So you won't have an AI of the level that you are getting in the live servers. Additionally, it'll probably be all scaled back. So like it will just be a scaled back version of Star Citizen. Because like you said, you not many people are going to rent a server farm to run a private server.
Yeah, you're going to need a whole server farm. You're not just going to run the whole game on one computer.
Unless it's like 100 players total.
Maybe one system, but that would be about it.
I mean, I don't even think we can get one system. I mean, look at the kind of private servers we have at other games. You're dealing with maybe a player cap of at most 100 people in things like Arma and that kind of stuff. And that taxes a server hardcore. So
everybody's all excited because Stoutman spoke.
well, we've established at the beginning of the stream, Stoutman doesn't need to speak. When he speaks, it's important. That's the only time Stoutman will speak.
We're here to
you
battle.
guys keep talking about stuff I don't give a shit about.
The thing is, I'm actually just an elaborate puppet, and he's been speaking through me the entire time.
So you're saying he's got his hand up here?
Yes. Delve Lex into
you,
that.
You don't want to know. Well, why do you think I'm so low? Like from like my my nipples down, it's just nothing. Have you ever seen me in real life? No. No.
I have.
Don't lie. Nothing happened.
Weren't
That
you
night
at PAX?
happened.
Weren't you at
You
PAX
said you
East?
wouldn't speak of that night. What happened in Boston stays in Boston, Paul. Okay. Look, what unspeakable things me and Richard did to you in that bedroom.
That's not
Stay in
unspeakable.
Boston.
That was totally
What?
consensual.
And fortunately, most of that was deleted from the internet.
All right, the next question comes from Headcloud again. Have you any of you tried using Steam Controller with Star Citizen? No.
Me, I have. It's just good.
It's good.
Everyone hates it. I love that thing. It's where's my fucking Steam controller? I don't care enough about to have.
It's good. I don't give a fuck about it.
I promise. I don't know.
I love that you can immediately find the Logitech Flight Stick, but you can't find the good controller.
I mean, I've got my G. Can't remember the title of it. The gamepad, the Logitech gamepad that they made, the single.
Got it.
I can't find it on me right now. It's just 'cause it's not work. It doesn't work for Star Citizen. Otherwise,
I've used
awesome.
an Xbox controller just for the purposes of helping people. The goal was to teach people how to use it right, and my final answer to that was find something else because it's horrible for Star Citizen, for combat at least. For just flying your ship around, it's fine.
I think it works okay for combat for people who are used to it. But if you're not used to a controller, just like if you're not used to a joystick, you're gonna suck with it for like 2-3 months before you get good at it.
Well, it's not just that. There's so many things that you have to be able to do in combat that you can't natively do on those controllers.
You have to do voice attack. You have to have voice attack with it, otherwise it
There is actually a really good workaround for it. You just need to get a set of organ pedals. You know, the set of 42 pedals as modifiers.
Yeah. DDR pad. You need a DDR pad so you can do that while you do that.
So this whole thing works. It doesn't work as well as I'd like, and I never actually use it for anything other than a novelty. But it does actually work. And I've used it times with like streaming to like Steam linking Star Citizen to my fucking TV to show like people the game before. I just used this just to run around Paul All-Star, you know, and that works fine. Still jank, and I've done a lot of working with it. This thing is a weird thing for gaming because you're gonna fucking hate this if for like 20 or 30 hours, and then there's a turning point around there where you're like, oh shit, this is actually fucking awesome.
So it's the problem. It's the problem with early controllers. Steam went through the problem. Valve went through the same problem that most controller or most video game console makers went through 10 years ago when they
they started introducing like analog sticks and like dual analog sticks. Like, what?
And have you played with the original Duke controller for the Xbox?
I love that stick so much.
There are two kinds of camps in that. The camps that absolutely love the Duke, the massive one, this is huge, like looks like you could beat someone to death with it. And there are people who hate it. And as a result, they went to a middle ground with the next Xbox controller, which then evolved in the Xbox 360 controller, which I would have to argue is one of the best ergonomically designed controllers ever. And then the Xbox One controller is simply just an extension of that. And
I would agree with you.
Really well.
That would be my favorite controller. I have like a Xbox One controller right here.
And Sony did the same thing, only they went backwards and then went forward.
Ergonomically, is like the coolest shit ever because it actually like curves up. Like other controllers curve back, right? Mm-hmm. This thing like curves up into your palm, and I have gigantic.
Oh, so it does the Dreamcast style.
I have giant fucking hands.
Yeah, Dreamcast did that.
So like it's so good. This isn't fucking baby controller. It's also dense as shit, and I could like beat someone to death with it.
Jester, that's why we always recommend to people to not use Dolvac's stuff after he's used them.
Yes, don't touch Dolvac stuff. Please don't.
Put my grubby hands all over it.
That's Biohazard.
I like to touch things.
Wait, Biohazard's here?
He's always here. Next question comes from Heretic. How many capital ships do you guys think they'll allow per instance or play area?
The maximum amount, if instancing works the way they want it to, the maximum amount of ships that can fit in an instance will be the maximum amount of capital ships because they will be treated as one entity.
Now, I think what's going to happen is what they were planning on doing a while ago is something that they're within striking distance of trying, which is the nested servers, where you have a big server, and then as shit gets chaotic, servers start splitting off and creating different servers. And that's one of the benefits of using the cloud architecture, is that they can spin up servers real quickly rather than having to do a physical server. They can just kind of allocate more space and have it automatically start splitting. So I think the answer is possibly infinite. Now the problem is that there's going to be a limited number of capital ships that will be available, A, and B, if there ever is a situation where there's like 50 capital ships in one instance, then the server will lag so hard the time itself will have to dilate in order for it to happen. So they'll probably set an artificial limit of a couple. I don't know how, it's off the top of my head, depends on how well they do the server stuff. But there's no limit in terms of the actual game being able to handle it. It'll be a limit in terms of the network being able to handle it in the long run.
And it may scale up in the long run as we get access to more CPU cycles in the servers.
And they've even said that technology, as technology progresses, it will change over time. Like
They're going to be inventing a lot of stuff to deal with that, I bet.
Mm-hmm. They've already started to do that, and they're going to do it. They've been saying since the very beginning, technology will change and we will upgrade. So, next question comes from not GHG. It says, "Tell Dolvac to zip it. The Argo will make an amazing Benny's delivery truck. Planet side. This will be so yum. So wow.
Some actual, if you actually want to see some of the inner workings of Benny's,
the Benny Company
in-universe fiction. Stay tuned for next week. To stuff coming down the chain.
Yeah,
I like how you spun that into a plug.
So what's around the verse?
Shut up, and you're like, speaking of,
You just, Grant, you just make me stronger, man. You can't fucking stop me. At one point, I just absorb your fucking negative energy and just like spew it back at you as a fucking plug.
Oh my god. The Taltran then now asks, with larger ships on the horizon and being released, do you expect a new flight model that bridges the gap between capital ships and snub fighters in terms of maneuverability?
Well, they're
Chris
all
stated that the
going to
capital
have
ships
their
would
own flight
not
model.
be ships you would fly. Rather, it would be.
I have a
be more
link
like
for everybody who's
setting
interested in that
waypoints
question.
because that's how they are.
Take a look at. Let me pull that up really
Hold on,
quick.
let me finish this question. Do you think there will be a unified flight engine, or would different classes of ships be multiple? Have multiple?
There already is a unified engine, and that's what we're going to work with.
Yeah, it's FCM, Flight Control Module.
It's also, the thing about it is that it's also based off of weight. So weight and maneuverability thrusters. And I don't care if you've got the biggest maneuvering thrusters in the history of time on something like a Bengal. It's not going to turn on a dime because the sheer mass of that ship is so heavy that it's going to take a while for it to turn. So
You look at the Starfarer.
Starfarer turns like garbage. Yeah.
It's the first of the ships with a significant amount of mass. It's not even a big ship. It's only 100 meters long.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're not going to fly a Javelin. You're never going to fly an Idris. And you're never going to fly a Bengal carrier.
You're also never going to...
Or Pegasus, or maybe even...
Hell, I don't think you're going to fly the Polaris or the Genesis.
Corvettes are up in the air, who knows?
Not,
But
you're
you're going to set waypoints, and it's just going to go there. That's why, you'd be like, hey, go orbit here. Go dock here.
I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at this, but the Hope, the ship that does the Hope class.
The Endeavour Hope
class. The Endeavour. Yes. I always forget that name. The Endeavour, I don't think you'll be able to fly either.
No.
I think you'll just set waypoints. I think probably the Orion and probably the Reclaimer will be the same.
I'm thinking the whole E is going to be the biggest ship you're actually going to have to fly.
Yeah. And even then, it'll probably make more sense just to set waypoints.
Yeah. Isn't the Hull E a very similar size to the Endeavour? Because the Endeavour at full extended is only 200 odd meters.
I think it's going to be very similar.
Actually, yeah, I take that back because it has a whole detachable model, which will definitely be able to fly.
Yeah.
I actually take that back.
I think the whole E you'll be able to fly, but you'll be able to fly it only when it's not carrying cargo.
I was going to say, when the mass gets too high, it's going to be down to waypoint system for it. I agree.
Yeah.
So,
here's the thing. What I linked to in there is Bayor of Red's ship review sheet. And what he's been doing is he's been going through and testing all the ships using a very scientific method because Bayor, he's an actual real-life scientist. That's why he's broke, because scientists don't make money.
Or science.
They just make science. But he's a real-life scientist, and he's been doing a lot of scientific testing on the ships, all the ships that are currently flyable, and going through and making notes on how they react compared to what the norm is and all that, and then making suggestions. And I understand that CIG is taking his suggestions quite to heart on some of these things. And one of his suggestions is that the smaller ships that we currently have right now don't necessarily feel like small ships when you compare them to, say, the Starfarer or the Constellation. And to fix that, rather than go through this like what somebody else was saying. Let's have different flight models for different classes of ships. Rather than do that, he's just suggesting that the smaller ships should have their rotational maneuverability increased a bit, so they feel like they turn faster. The larger ships might need to have it reduced a bit and things like that. But he goes through and he's doing every single ship right now and forwarding that onto CIG and letting them then go and test against his and decide if they like his suggestions or not. And from what I gather, they do like a lot of his suggestions.
And the thing about it is, as Skartung says, it makes no sense for the Idris, for example, because of the fixed railgun. The thing about it is that you're still going to set waypoints. So, for instance, when you're turning, you're not going to have a pilot that's actually turning. You're having a pilot who's going to set coordinates to go at this, bank 30 degrees starboard, and it's going to go 30 degrees starboard, and the ship will move 30 degrees starboard. It'll handle like a battleship rather than handling like a
that railgun is not meant for dogfights.
That railgun is designed to shoot other big ships.
That goes back to that famous line from Mass Effect 2. You're not going to eyeball that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because the size of projectile it's going to be launching out is going to be the equivalent of a large-scale nuclear blast if it hits something. And you're going to ruin somebody's day somewhere, sometime when you fire that. So firing that thing is going to be the fire control computer will probably take control of the ship's maneuvering. And the fire control officer will plug in the range and distance and all that, and the ship is going to reorient itself based on that to fire. Because you don't want to mess with that son of a bitch.
No.
Because it's going to keep going until it hits something.
Will it be able to be fired at a planet, at a target on a planet?
Oh yeah, it could, and it would, if it did, it would cause the equivalent of a nuclear blast. It would hit the ground. It would be non-nuclear, but it would be hitting so fast, so quickly that it could do
same kinetic
damage.
energy released. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll
I'd
model
also
that
like to point out that, of
reality.
course, what's going to end up happening, and guaranteed, if I ever get access to an Idris, if someone will be flying out of they'll fly their Aurora out of the landing bay in the Idris and take a slight turn down as they go off the end of the runway and catch that railgun.
and the Aurora won't actually blow up. It'll, because it's so tough. The railgun bolt will just actually hit the Aurora and then carry the Aurora out into deep space. It'll be the way that we do. We call it the test squadron jump point. You just
The
send them
super
out.
quantum.
Yeah, the super quantum test squadron super quantum. Without any fuel. Oh, but no, and I think a lot of it has to do with degree turns, like you see in a ship, versus fighter pilot maneuvering. And that, if you look at any Chris Roberts game in the past, that's exactly how they handled larger ships.
That's why Sir Isaac Newton is the meanest son of a bitch in the galaxy, or the deadliest son of a bitch in the galaxy.
The deadliest son of a bitch in the galaxy, yeah.
Yep.
All right, next question comes from Sergeant Jukic. Should the Argo be the first $5 ship? I don't see many uses for it. No. Has as much uses, in fact, more uses than, say, the
Merlin.
The Merlin, and because it can actually carry cargo and people.
Yeah. Well, we established that the pricing module for the Argo is going to be $25 plus 2D20.
I mean, the further we get along, the closer we get to release, the higher the prices these ships have gotten. Like, I think the Dragonfly, if it was released last year, would have been $20, but it was $35 now because they're getting closer to release and they think they can charge it, and people will buy it, and so. My guess is that it'll probably be about $35.
Well, I think the Dragonfly was a little bit more because of demand for it. It's a novelty that everybody seems to want. And if you look at it from a use standpoint, it is not a very useful ship.
I think it'll be. They need it though because of planetary exploration.
Planetary, you need something for the planet. You can't just drive the Grey Cat everywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive my fucking golf cart through like.
You should be able to fly your ship everywhere, though. I mean, if it's a single seater or small ship, you should be able to fly it everywhere.
Yeah, but you're not going to hover.
Well, if you're gonna go cruise around within a city, you can do that on a Dragonfly. You can't do that with your ship.
Yes, you can. I've done it. I flew around Arcor before.
No, doesn't the Grey Cat hover at about neck height?
Yes, it does.
So everywhere I go in a city, I'm going to be crouching.
Yes. No, it comes in. Yeah. Actually, the Grey Cat comes about. Its height is about neck height, so you'd have to drive it everywhere. But the reason why is because there's going to be places, I guarantee, with large canopies of trees, and you're gonna have to find a spot to put it down, and then you're gonna have to go long distance, and they need the.
I think that's why it was rushed. As you're right, is so we have something to use in procedural. Basically, I think the guys at Frankfurt were designing the planets, and they're walking around and driving the Grey Cats. They're going, guys, we need something better than this. This is bullshit.
Yeah. I'd like to say I would hit that I would hit that thing like a tree on Endor.
Oh man, but Space Biker Gangs, that's going to be a thing, and it's going to be epic. No, but I still say it's going to be at $35 because it has that much utility to it. Even though it doesn't have a lot of utility for out of the system, it's got utility in terms of making deliveries and being a rescue ship and stuff like that.
Yep.
The Monopoly Man asks, if you pass go, do you collect 200 at the end of the turn or as you pass go?
No, I spend $200 on a new concept sale.
Actually, you collect 200 when you land on go. That's the original rules.
Thank you. And then the Monopoly asks, I just ran over someone passing go. Should I pay the $50 fine to the police? No, because you're
Servers are fucking down, man. Don't worry about it.
You're the Monopoly Man, dude. You don't have to pay anybody.
You got the top hat and the monocle.
Just pay off the judge and you'll be fine. That's just how this works. No, you're a celebrity. You're not going to get charged with murder. Warwag asks, if you could pick a company to make a Star Citizen flight stick, who would you pick, including companies you don't normally make flight sticks? Corsair.
Asus.
Oh, that's easy for me.
Yeah, Asus, I would agree. Asus.
CH for two reasons. One, because they haven't made a new stick in 2 decades. And two, because they have made the best sticks, hands down, of all time.
I got nothing. Like I'd say VKB, but they might be making one, and no one will ever see it.
They are making one, and they actually put a link on there. I'll put it in chat again for you guys to see it. But this was linked to me. This was posted a while ago. It's experience the best damn flight stick ever. Welcome to the verse.
Yeah, but that's just the Gladiator. That's nothing special.
Yeah.
Is that something new? Is that something they've always had?
It's just a Gladiator slapped on a base that says Star Citizen. That's all.
Yeah, but it's a Star Citizen brand.
It says Black Mamba.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. I'd like a device made by Mayflash. They make DDR dance pads.
There we go.
I keep saying this. I'm going to get a DDR dance pad and get it to work in Star Citizen. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm going to get it. I keep making that joke, and I'm going to do it, damn it.
No, it actually probably wouldn't be that bad. A guy plays, like, he just got through the entirety of Dark Souls 3 with 2 dance pads right next to each other. Hopping back and forth, man.
How about you, Statman? Do you use flight sticks?
I don't use flight sticks. I don't really care.
Yeah, fuck. It doesn't matter. Statman has spoken. It doesn't matter.
I got a keyboard and mouse, and they work just fine, so...
Headclot asks, with the 1,000-person crew requirement for the Bengal, how do you think that orgs will coordinate? Poorly. Damn it, Fairasalt. See, this is the reason why you and I...
coordination, period.
Fairasalt and I, if you don't know, we're actually going to be commentating on the first ever professional Star Citizen race. You know, it's just me and Fairasalt getting absolutely blasted talking about how everyone in here is a terrible driver and we could do better. That's what's going to happen.
And just like commentating, okay, he's going wide, he's going going to crash. Damn it, he saved it.
Isn't that fun? Why aren't you crashing, people? Don't you know that people at home want to see crashes?
It's like NASCAR, right?
Hey, stop by the booth. I got you some booze. There, you can crash. All right. Here's a Moscow Mule. Go enjoy yourself.
It's like NASCAR with a 4-drink minimum.
Yeah. So like NASCAR.
Yeah.
But hardcore.
The question was, how are people going to communicate? With a
1,000-person crew requirement for Bengal, how do you think orgs will coordinate to run one?
First of all, I think people still have pretty high expectations that they're going to be able to fly one of those bastards. Just because CIG is making it flyable, and just because it might be in the game, does not translate to you as players will ever be able to fly this thing. You know, that's not a 100% guarantee. I don't think they've ever said 100% that we could fly one of those, just that we could maybe take over one, we could use as a base, things like that. So that's one thing. But the other aspect of that is it will be possible for people who have, especially military experience can say this too, but you have to do layered command structures in your communications, in your comms, using Discord, TeamSpeak, whatever you use, the internal voice comms. But you have to have the command level, the people that are actually on the bridge are going to be completely separate from everybody else. The people who are the heads of the various departments, engineering, fire control, the hangar deck and all that, they report directly to the command level comms station. Their people report directly to them. The people below them report directly to them, and it becomes a staggered, layered system. And that's how it works in, say, a real aircraft carrier or a destroyer or things like that. That's how it works in most military units. And that kind of thing, but it is possible. You're not going to see 1,000 person. I don't think you're ever going to see a 1,000 person interaction like that, simply because I don't think the instances will ever be able to handle it. I mean,
well, you're going to get 1,000 people on the ship, and they're not going to know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's going to be all these other orgs that are going to go, hey, this org's got the ship. Let's go take it. They're going to be getting attacked before they even get a chance to get it moving.
Yeah,
it's just going to be capture the ship is all it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why Test Squadron has indicated from the beginning that we're going to find the first Bengal carrier and then we're going to fly it into the sun. Because
just to remove the problem from the verse, right?
There we go.
And it's going to take us 30 days just to get the damn thing up and running and flying towards the sun, because we're going to be so damn drunk and disorganized.
30 days, man. You have a lot.
Right.
Hey, you know what?
Just keep ramming with the roars. You'll nudge it the right way eventually.
Hey, you know,
I'm going to keep on turning up with beer fairs full of beer. We're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say beer built the pyramids. Like, if it could build the pyramids, then it could build anything.
But yeah, what Pengu Lord just said, that's exactly how it works. You know, when I was a team leader, I was in charge of 3 guys. I answered to my squad leader, and when we were on missions, I was in charge of my truck, and our primary comms were within the truck. But then I commed straight up to my squad leader. My squad leader was in charge of all the teams in our squad, which is usually 3, and he then reported to the platoon leader. Platoon leader was in charge of all 4 squads. The platoon leader reported to the company commander, or if we were on a mission, straight to company HQ, and then company HQ reported to battalion HQ to division to theater, and that's how that worked. And I never directly interacted with battalion HQ and if I did, that usually meant something was seriously fucking wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say if someone like McKetton is talking to someone who is even in a command structure as high as company, then something fucked up.
Exactly.
There's a mod for armor that's been around forever called Acre. And it's just radio simulations. It's just communication simulations.
If we could get the Acre guys to build stuff for Star Citizen, I would love it.
I love that shit so well. And like people are like, well, yeah, why are you intentionally handicapping yourself? It's like because it's actually not a handicap.
Yeah.
At some point, because like I infinitely rather have like my team of 30 people with Acre and not be able to talk to people across the map unless I'm on a radio and have to juggle channels and stuff. Just because of the level of organization that once you learn how to use it and you have your structure and you know everyone knows who to talk to, backup channels to jump to and frequencies and all this shit, how that stuff works, the level of like structure is infinitely better than like having 30 people in a fucking Discord channel like, well, we're getting shot. Where am I getting shot from? Where are you? Is this you? Are you right next to me? Who are you? Like, are you the guy I'm talking to? Like, that's all that is. And it's fucking terrible.
That is one thing that I would say about Discord in the long run, which is why TeamSpeak is only superior to Discord in that, is that TeamSpeak allows those nested channels that allows you to have...
Supposedly we are getting that with Discord.
Apparently we're getting that with Discord, but, you know, it's one of those things to bring up. But, yeah, no, I think Star Citizen would do very well to have the UIP that's similar to Acre.
And they said straight up, like in game, like they want to have something similar to that.
Yeah,
but also for that to work, though, you also have to do the one above, one below philosophy, which is whatever your job is, you need to know every detail of the job of the guy above you and the guy below you, so that if you lose them for whatever reason, you can take over. You lose comms, the person's taken out, whatever, you can take over that job without it completely throwing. Yeah.
And everybody who's going on the Bengal has never been there before. None of this is going to happen. It's going to be chaos.
Nothing's
going to happen.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
The first month of Star Citizen is going to be a clusterfuck of awesome. Just people are just going to shoot each other. People will be ramming each other all the time.
Like, pretty much like the first month of the PT or the Persistent Universe was, when all it was people.
2.0 was chaos.
Yeah. Just figuring out how to take off and crashing into the side of the station, you know?
Well, yeah, remember when it was just like a victory to be able to quantum drive out before somebody rammed you?
Yeah.
That was a victory. I was like, yes, I did it.
Now I made it out, and the server crashed.
Yeah. Server crashed, yeah.
And unfortunately, I blew up in the middle of quantum drive.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for the questions. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, everyone who's watching, and I'd like to thank every one of the guests here. We're going to go around in a circle, starting from the silent, wise master below me, Stoutman. Please tell the people who you are and where they can find you.
I am the Stoutman at Stoutman_PR on what is this? Twitch and Twitter. And I stream mainly Star Citizen. Some other stuff. Been doing Subnautica lately. That's a fun game. It's like Star Citizen underwater. Not really. But it's fun.
All right, excellent. And next is Dovlak.
Oh my god. So I've been streaming a whole bunch lately. My schedule's really changing a whole lot right now. You can find me over at twitch.tv/papadolvac or at papadolvac. I stream a whole bunch of garbage. Sources included, Overwatch, all that garbage. I'm doing a lot of Factorio lately. Here next month, next little while, I'm going to be going through No Man's Sky. I think all of us will be doing that.
Yeah, one gold. I'm happy about that.
Got like Diablo. I'm going to go through Diablo 3 coming up eventually. I also make a cinema series called Bulkheads.
Bulkheads.
It's real cool. You can go check that out, bulkheads.tv.
They need to get some new writers on that thing, though.
Yeah, it's fucking garbage.
Horrible writers, yeah.
But we have something coming up next week, which I can't really talk about right now, but you will see it definitely by Thursday next week. So that's happening. 100%. It's 99% finished right now. Coming out. It's actually one of the better things I think we've ever done. I'm kind of proud of it. It's pretty good. And I hope you all fucking don't hate it and don't hate it.
You should love it.
Just salt.
Please,
All right.
Salt.
please love me.
Speaking of salt,
I'm sorry.
the next person in line, Fair Assault. Tell us who you are, where they can find you, where's your tiki bar, all that kind of stuff.
Hey there, I am Farasol. I stream live on Twitch 7 days a week right now. I'm doing it pretty much full time, having a lot of fun doing so. I stream almost exclusively Star Citizen, but you will see me mix it up every now and again. Because
I see what you did there.
if you've been playing Star Citizen for a long time, there isn't that much content yet, so I do have a hard time doing it 6 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
However, I have just started a new idea. I'm going to be running a cocktail class here on Twitch very soon. It should be starting within half an hour over at twitch.tv/Farazot. That'll happen every fortnight. So if you'd like to learn how to make cocktails, come on around. Tonight we're doing a margarita, a Hummer Mama, and a Black Russian or a White Russian. I'm not sure which yet.
And for those of us that went through the American education system, a fortnight is 2 weeks.
Yep. Alrighty. And then next we have Eric McKetton. Who are you? Where can they find you?
Twitch TV Eric McKetton, Twitter Eric McKetton, just how it's spelled with the little @ symbol under my head down there. I stream. I do also stream mostly Star Citizen, although like everybody else, I'm breaking it up lately because it's starting to get a little repetitive. And I'm on Sunday through Thursday from 11 p.m. Pacific to whenever. And then sometimes during the daytime, just depends on my internet. My internet likes to go wonky on me in the daytime. And I'll be on the Test Squadron's podcast, Perverse the Verse, tomorrow, which I believe is being hosted by Sergeant Gamble this week. If he's still in chat, he can verify that or not. But
It'll go downhill quickly.
Yeah, it'll go downhill quickly.
I want to be part of this.
But yeah, so that's whoa, that's a whole lot of Dolvac.
That is a whole lot of shifty eyes. And I, of course, am your lovable and infallible bartender and host, Paul Berserker01 Shelley. You can find me here at the Astro Pub every day from 10 p.m. to late. That's Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern, and like 6 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So like 5 in the morning for most of you folks, and 5 or 7 in the morning. I can't remember which way it goes in the summer. For most of you guys in Europe. And I also sometimes do happy hour streams, which are from 2 p.m. on, and you always find the Captain's Table every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. GMT, for those of you guys who are interested. So thanks again for all the hosts. Thank you for all the guests for showing up, and for the rest of you guys asking questions and hanging out in chat. This will be up on YouTube here shortly. And like I say every night, I hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, I hope to see you someday in the black. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
I need to pee so badly.